Opa, nešto se promijenilo. Aha, evo sad vidim. Evo gledaj, ovo se vidi. Vrti se ovaj tvoj intro. Nice, nice.
Ok. Dobro, sad ću Evo ga.
A imaš kameru od mog mobitela.
Šta?
Imaš kameru od mog mobitela upaljenu.
Pa imam tebe. Znači stavio sam, ako hoćeš možemo i promijeniti software.
Aha, čekaj, ja bi onda trebao šta? Okrenut ovo? Sorry. Jer ja sam mislio da će se na komp povezati.
Ne, kako ti god hoćeš. Znači, ja tebe mogu, čekaj.
Jel možeš svoju kameru staviti da gleda direktno u tebe?
Kako misliš direktno u mene?
Kamera ti je dolje kod lijeve ruke i... kamera ti je dolje ovako kod lijeve ruke i... kamera ti je ovako kod lijeve ruke i...
Aha, čekaj, kak bih htio?
Sad imamo ovo preko kamere na mom mobitelu. Ja sam mislio da ćemo složiti preko kompa.
Ne, to je...
To...
Znači, stvar je, samo ti moraš, ti moraš biti, kako da ti objasnim, znači ja trebam tvoj source. Znači ja sad imam tvoj Facebook call. Ako ti želiš koristiti Zoom ili bilo šta drugo, možemo i tak.
Aha. Ok, ajmo onda rađe tako. Mislim, meni je i ovo ok, ali... Gledam ovo kako se vidi, nekak mi je malo prezoomirano, a možda i nije.
Ne, ja tebe mogu popraviti, gledaj.
Ti mene možeš popraviti? Yeah!
Možda si mikrofon pomakneš malo u stranu, da ga centriraš.
Ovako.
To. Čekaj. Jer stvar je što, ja sam ovaj template napravio, onda sam izrezao te kocke van, da bi nama, da bi mi imali. Problem je kod mog setupa što je meni jako teško negdje dobro staviti kameru kod mene. Tako da, trenutno koristim stari mobitel za kameru.
Bilo bi fakat bolje da ga staviš negdje više.
Da, to mi je problem. Znaš ono to je. Kako se uopće čuje na YouTube-u?
Ja na YouTube-u ne čujem ništa, meni je sad sve preko mobitela. Ja mislim da je meni mikrofon zblokirao sound na YouTube-u.
Da, jer ti mene zoveš preko mobitela.
Da, ali ja na komp mi ne... Znači, komp mi ne proizvodi nikakve zvukove.
Da, tvoj komp ne, znači sav audio na YouTube ide preko mog desktop audija, što si actually tvoj input svog mikrofona. Znači ti bi mene morao sad nazvati na Zoomu preko kompa, da nama bude tvoj input, tvoj mikrofon.
Ok, znači ja sad imam mikrofon bez veze pred sobom.
Pa nikad nije bez veze. Tako da, znači stvar je što, zavisno kak Windows, znači mogu i ovako gledat cijelo vrijeme. A mogu i ovako. Ovo je možda čak i bolji kadar. Zato što volio bi i tebe vidjeti tak, jer moram tebe gledati radi gestikuliranja. I onda sam razmišljao kako staviti najbolji kadar za to.
A jel možeš naći nekakvu kutiju za cipele ili nešto, samo staviti pred monitor i nasloniti onak mobitel na kutiju?
Čekaj, pa ćemo to isprobati. Ajde ti ajmo mi prvo staviti da ti preko Zooma mene nazoveš.
Ajde, ok. Na Face ti pošaljem onda link za Zoom.
Može.
Daj mi samo sekundu da to otvorimo. Zoom. New meeting. Mogu te reći da mi je Zoom jako drag software.
Zoom je super. Baš sam jučer sam gledao tutoriale I mogu reći da je Zoom zapravo jako, jako cijenjen u svijetu tehnologije.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Ajmo se mi na engleski prebaciti čisto da mentalno nam bude, just to make it mentally easier. Stjepan, I noticed that after talking to someone for 15 minutes, their English gets a lot better. It's actually worse to start. So
Yeah, it's probably better to directly start speaking English so we can get warmed up. I will quit now Facebook, and then I will insert the Zoom call.
All right. Should we cancel this call here?
I will cancel everything, so
yeah.
See you in a second.
All right, cool.
Okay, so we hear each other?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay, great. Just give me a second to adjust everything.
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Wait a second.
You sound a bit silent.
Yeah, because I'm not talking right now.
No, when you're talking, you don't sound loud enough.
Okay, so actually I should talk louder. But I think the thing is, you can turn on YouTube now and put the sound on YouTube for the live stream, and then you can check actually. Okay. So, wait, I set up the other camera. Okay, good. Now you see me on the other cam. And now we can add you to the stream.
I see it on a white screen.
Yep, just give me a second.
I'm just checking there the analytics. We had one person joining us at one point, man.
Yeah, I know. I gave, of course, the meeting to some friends. So.
Awesome stuff.
It's not capturing you.
Why not?
Okay, here it is. Let's move it down.
Now I can see myself.
Yeah, and now we will fix that.
Good job.
So we will cut you a bit. Crop. Oh, that's nice.
I like this camera that you have. What's this gray thing that's next to the camera? Is it your microphone?
No, that's actually my other cam, so you can see me on Zoom. because I'm using right now my phone. So yeah.
The camera that you have for Zoom looks shit, man.
Yeah, that's actually my webcam. That's actually my webcam. So can you hear me now better?
Yeah, sounds better.
Okay, great. Yeah, so how you like the setup now for your first live stream? It's also a big thing for you.
Yeah, it is, man. Did you start recording? Should I start on the Zoom, or like I like the camera that you have your webcam a lot better than the Zoom call one. So
Yeah,
I don't know if I should even
I
record.
started to recording right now.
All right, cool. Then I'll just leave it. I'll just look at the live stream on YouTube. And as far as I can see, it's like 1 or 2 seconds late. Or
Yeah,
maybe a few.
it has a classic delay of I think actually 10 seconds.
Mhm.
Or it's 5 seconds. It's made so if you have a slower line to give you a process, it's called buffering.
Mhm.
So actually that people who are watching it, if your connection is not fast enough, it will make a better experience for the viewer.
Oh, nice. That's a good thing. Let's see how far away it is. I'll raise the finger and start counting to 10, and then we'll see how far away it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It's 5 seconds.
7. All right, so it's 5 to 6 seconds, something like that. All right, cool. I usually prefer to watch only like you while speaking to a person.
Yeah,
I'm not even
actually-
sure if I should.
Actually, what you can do is you don't have to do nothing. It's everything on my PC. So actually, but the thing what you can do is you can look at my shitty webcam and
Okay.
just focus on me. So I can adjust it a bit better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about, man.
So you can just actually look at me because everything what's actually now on YouTube is over OBS.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever
Yeah.
happens on my screen or your screen, it doesn't matter because everything is over the software.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think that's it then. Are you ready?
Like I said, I'm a bit nervous.
Don't worry about it. When we get into chatting, you'll see that there's nothing to be nervous about. I have the questions written down, but I don't stick to questions that much. Like I'm not oh, this has to be in that like part and in that second. So I just want it to be like a normal conversation, and I think we're good at that. So I don't think we'll have any problems. And I'll do a short intro, like the countdown that I do every time. And then we'll just go into chatting, like introducing myself, yourself a little bit, the podcast and everything. And then we'll go into the questions and we'll see how many we get through. Like I will do at least 1 hour. That's kind of the minimum that I will do for a podcast. If we go longer, like I don't have a problem with that. I'm free until like 5 o'clock. So, we have enough time.
Yeah, like actually we have like 3 hours, me also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
actually we can keep it slow going and then we will see how it ends. Anything that you want to prepare before we start, like with the overlay or something?
I don't know, man. It looks good. I would keep it like that. I think it's fine.
Okay, great.
Tip, have something to drink next to you. Maybe after an hour, if you feel the need, just signal for a break and we'll do a break. If not, we'll just keep going, and that's kind of it, man. Let's get the show started. All right, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Uncle Gold podcast. My name is Borna Zuber. I'm the host of the Uncle Gold podcast, the show that's here to kind of bring value to all the listeners and everyone that's here. You probably didn't have a rich uncle that taught you how to get the gold in life, and I hope this podcast kind of helps in it. I'm going to bring on guests that have a positive attitude and have a lot of cool tips and ideas that might help in your day-to-day life. So we're going to do a bunch of interviews here. And today I have a dear friend of mine who's also a former colleague. We used to work in a company together that we kind of have a hard time forgetting about. His name is Stjepan. Stjepan, welcome to the show.
Hi, Borna. Welcome, and thank you for having me on the show, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to also bring some positive things to your channel, to open my mind, to maybe help somebody someday. And it's a really big pleasure for me to be next to you also in this moment where you make your first live stream. I'm actually really a bit proud of it because I appreciate your work and big fan. So it makes me happier to be here. And I think that we're gonna have a nice conversation and that it's gonna be a really good result. So let's dive into it.
Awesome stuff, man. I'm also happy that you're here, man. We've been chatting a lot in the last month or so. We kind of started working closer together now. I have a feeling even more than we used to when we were working back in Croatia. But just for everyone who doesn't know our story, this is the first live stream that we're doing. So the first time that the Uncle Gold podcast has been live, guys. I hope you like it. Of course, on YouTube, you'll see the final edited version, and of course on the podcast sites. But Stjepan, before we go into all the questions that we prepared there, can you give us a little background on who you are, what you do, and where you are currently?
So my name is Stjepan. I come from Croatia. I'm 29 years old, and currently I'm living in Germany, in a really nice city called Frankfurt. And right now I work in hospitality. I work in a hotel here in Frankfurt. And the way that I'm probably working now and what's actually my plans is so that I'm pretty much working on improving myself and to change a lot of things in my life. So that's me. Like, I'm actually a pretty normal guy, but I just have some good attitude. I have a good attitude, and I also have some big goals. So, like everybody else, just that I decided to leave my country. I decided that I have to leave Croatia. So that's the thing about me, is that I wanted to go out of Croatia. So I ended up in Germany, and this is where I am now. Actually pretty happy, pretty satisfied. So,
all right.
Yeah.
How did that start? Like, there's a huge debate now for everyone doesn't know in Croatia, like, should you stay and kind of help improve the country, right, and make the whole thing better? Or should you, like many others, just pack your things and go and leave the country and try somewhere else? How come you made the decision to go to Germany, and why Germany?
So it's actually a good story. So as you remember, we worked together at the same company. And as we started there, it looked everything promising. Like, it had a future. So we worked hard, we did a lot, and how it is in Croatia, we didn't get paid for it. And it's the sad truth, yeah. You can laugh, we can laugh both now about it, because we made a step up, we stepped up our game, our lives. But the thing is how it was that 4 years ago, in 2016, or actually, yeah, it was 2016, I think, when everything happened, was like, it was hard. We worked a lot, we traveled, worked huge amount of hours, we worked sometimes night shift, sometimes we were alone in the office on weekends because somebody has to take the shift in case of an emergency. So it was hard for us, but we did it, and we gave 100%. And if you can remember also, what happened was that nobody appreciated us in the end. We were just actually used. And it's not a problem if you get used. You know, like, if somebody uses you as a tool, it's okay, you allowed it. You know, you are working, at least you should get paid. But we didn't get paid, and in the end, I think that I think in the end, we were the idiots there. We made the mistakes because we gave 100% of ourselves to a company that actually had zero future. This was like doomed from the beginning, but we were a lot younger, we were naive, and we were thinking, yeah, it's gonna be a great opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
After
I really did have a feeling at one point that we could kind of turn it around. The company was actually having really good contacts in Germany. They partnered with some like really large companies. Let's not get into that here on the show, but some of them are like in the healthcare industry, some of them are in the human resource and recruitment industry, some were in the kind of like data science thing. So there were a lot of like really cool projects going on. I think the problem was with management, basically the owners of the company. Yeah, it was played wrong, and I actually don't regret that we put in the effort. I think that was the only good thing that we did, because that kind of showed us that we could do it even if the circumstances were bad, even if we weren't getting paid. And I used that example later when I was looking for a job for myself, when I would go to an interview and somebody would look at my CV and they would be like, so what happened here? And I would tell them the story, and people would be like, what? You know, recruiters being like, so how much did you work? And like this much, and like, how much did you get paid? It was like 1/3 of the salary. And they're like, what? And I think it's a good story to tell, and it shows a lot. I think it tells a lot about, not to kind of brag or anything, but it shows that both you and I and all the other people that were there, like what was this guy, Željka, and the other guy, Dubravko, you know, like people like that who really gave it their effort, you know, and really wanted to kind of help the company. I think that shows loyalty, and I think that a lot of companies are looking for stuff like that.
The thing was that the people who worked there actually were a perfect mix of everything. You had like amazing salespeople. You had people who had a great mind for logistics. You had people who understand and fluently speaking more languages, like actually everybody of us. And we could bring a lot of things to that company, but nobody actually wanted to make something out of it. So the problem was that the management, even in a situation of crisis, didn't trust any of the co-workers. Mm-hmm. And of course it ended badly. So it was a great experience for me. It's also making me happy today that I went through that experience. But what made me decide to leave Germany was
to leave Germany?
To leave Croatia. To leave Croatia was the month after that. So after I left the company where we worked together, I got a really amazing job as an office manager in a parachute company. So like, what you want more? Like, you're a young guy full of adrenaline. You really want to make something out of your life, and you find that job where you work for a parachute company. Like, dude, your job is built around jumping out of the plane, making videos, talking with people, traveling. Like, that's everything what you want in your life. And you have like a huge amount of GoPro cameras around you, and whatever you do, it's like so really cool. And that was the moment where I was saying, okay, right now I will give not 100%, I will give even more. I worked 6-7 days per week. I worked 8 hours, 10 hours. I was traveling to the airport. I was preparing the plane. I was also participating in how to build a parachute, how to get all the techniques to jump out of the plane. What in the end I also did. But the thing was, again, we are coming back to Croatia, and we are coming back to that one big problem for everybody who is young, and for everybody who, actually for everybody. You have to appreciate yourself more. And if you see that the situation is not going well, you have to immediately jump out of it. Like, leave that and search for another opportunity. And I was on that big cruise. We had a mission on the Croatian coast where we were dropping people out of a chopper. So it was like the dream. You're 2 weeks on the Croatian coast. You have a huge chopper, the only in Croatia, private chopper. I was living at that moment with a pilot of that chopper, the only private pilot in Croatia, who also has a private plane. And the thing was that we went there, and then I realized that I made a huge mistake. I committed myself again too much, and my boss started to become like the bad stepmother you have, you know, like who now enters who now enters your life and wants to destroy everything. We had some problems because we decided, because I was believing that my boss was an amazing guy, and that my job is actually really cool, that my boss is cool because he's jumping out of planes, out of choppers. I don't know, like a Croatian Felix Baumgartner. Not so thin and not so good looking, but the attitude was there, you know. And I'm a huge fan of Felix Baumgartner, so I was like, yes. And then he took a bad location, like the mission was great, the plan was great, but we had a bad start. And how it is in a parachuting business is how you become a millionaire in a parachuting business. You have to be a billionaire. So what you're doing is that you spend a lot of money. And what happened actually was that we had a problem. Everything was going bad, and I was thinking, okay, it's this one mission. We had a lot of success all around Eastern Europe, on the Balkan, so we will survive this. We will go back to Zagreb. We will have a winter break, prepare for the spring season. It's gonna be everything awesome. No, unfortunately, it was not. In the end, this is now we are coming out to the reason why I left Croatia and how it came to it. After the mission finished, I came home. I was working 12 hours on the last day. After that, I had to drive a big van for 4 hours to get back to Zagreb. I was left on a gas station without money because my paycheck should come in 1 week. Without money because I was paying for my own expenses there. Okay, he paid food and some things and the apartment, but I had to pay for the food and for my own expenses. For example, if I want to go out or drink something and like this. And of course, you're young. You're in Zrče, Croatia. You want to party, you know, like every night you go out. Of course, you spend money because you think, oh, I will get my paycheck in 2 weeks. So I came home. I went out of the country. I went to Slovenia to go swimming with my friend, and he started to mob me with a couple of calls. And I still had the office phone with me, and I said, yeah, okay, I will come, we will meet, I will come later today, now let me in peace. He came, and the guy told me that he wants to sue the pilot, because he thinks it was his fault, actually. I mean, the guy was just flying a chopper. What happened in the end was that he wanted me to sign a false acquisition against the pilot, or he doesn't give me my money. So he took a bunch of cash out, like really a bunch of cash, put it on the table, and he said to me, I will not pay you until you sign this false acquisition. After you worked 28 days in 1 month, you kinda get a small meltdown, like a burnout. So what was the point of this was that...
And did the pilot do anything wrong? Like
No. Look, the dude only had to fly. So he would wake up in the morning, turn on the chopper, fly, come back, fly, come back. The dude had nothing to do with it. The problem was that the mission was not so successful, and our boss didn't want to pay for nothing. And the pilot only wanted to be paid for the kerosene, for the gas. So what happened is that he wanted me to sign a false acquisition. So actually I left his office, You remember that small room, that amazing room with all the
remember.
equipment? I left it and I called my dad immediately, like, because my dad is a super smart, super experienced guy, and I asked me, Dad, what should I do? And my dad told to me that fuck everything, fuck the money, we are not snitches, we are not liars, get the fuck out of there. And it was like this. I told him to stuff the money up his ass. I threw a chair at him, plastic chair, because I couldn't control myself, and I left the place. And it was actually really hard, because I remember driving my car from the center of Zagreb back to my home, and at one moment I had a complete breakdown. Like, I had to stop with the car on the side road, and I started to cry. And it was like, why are you doing this? Stefan, why are you doing this? Like, is it worth to sacrifice yourself for everything? And I came home, I was like in a bad mood 2-3 days. My dad told to me, hey, I know how much you worked. Look, he was so nice, he gave me some money, because I was young, I was broke, and I was like planning for my future, because I was planning with a paycheck, of course. And because I was paid per hour, I was hoping that I will have like a lot of money, because I worked out. My dad gave me some money, said, here, you know what, Stepan, go take a vacation. So I went to Novi Sad. I went to Serbia, because I love Serbia. It's like an amazing place. I have a lot of amazing people there. They're like almost my family. And there I realized, look, it's bad to be in Croatia. It's even worse to be somebody young and talented in Serbia. So I have to do something for myself, and maybe this will give the opportunity one day so I can help somebody else to achieve it. So I came home and I was feeling down, like really, really down. So I decided that I want to move out. So I opened some web page, like I opened Google, Chrome, doesn't matter, and I wrote jobs in Germany. And like nothing was appealing to me, like at that moment my German was great. Right now it's fluent. But the thing is that I was like really stressed. Like, what to do now? Stefan, you have to leave this country. You have to do something with yourself. So on this internet page, I found a job. It was calling, that was interesting. It was calling in a hotel. So in a hotel in Germany, somewhere in Germany. And I said, you know what? I will apply for that place. Like, they're searching some trainees. It was an F&B trainee, food and beverage trainee. And I will be honest to you, I had no clue what that is. Like, I didn't know nothing about F&B, about food and beverage. I didn't know nothing about hospitality. The only thing that I knew is I want to leave this country and I want to do it now. So I sent my CV to that hotel. I sent it on English, and they called me. They called me 1 hour after, and I said to them, okay, so the only thing that I want is I want a place to sleep, want a functioning toilet, and I want a paycheck. Of course, we will get into you. I will send you the contract in 2 hours. 2 hours later, I had the whole contract from a German company in front of me. And the only thing that I had to do is I have to put a fucking cross on the contract and to send it back and to start to work. And
cross is like a pirate because you can't do your own signature, right?
Yeah, like just sign it, just put a cross. And the thing was, look, I come from a Christian family. I come from a family that's loving and that appreciates me and that was always respecting and pushing me. And of course, we lived in a big house with 8 of us of the family, with the grandfathers, with an uncle and aunt. Like, amazing, huge family. So the thing was that I was like, okay, what we can do. And I called him and I asked him, give me a couple of days. So I signed the contract and I should leave in 4 days. It was summer, it was July. So I came downstairs, I came to my family, and I told them, because on summer evenings everybody would sit outside, and I would tell them, you know what, people, I'm leaving to Germany. I will pack my stuff in 3 days. I'm taking a bus to Munich, and I'm going to Schweig. And everybody, don't smile, because everybody was like, what the fuck is Schweig? Like, dude, what is that? Where are you going? Why are you doing that? Which hotel? What, did you read the contract? And I told them, yes, I read the contract. I'll be honest, I didn't check the hotel online. That was kind of mistake.
Oh, mistake?
No, it was not a mistake. Like a mistake, because everything has a happy ending right now. And I think everything will be better in the future. But at that moment, I was like, just, Stjepan, put your head and go through every wall that comes from now on.
Yeah, you made a decision.
I made a decision, and I said to myself, I will not back down now. I have to do it. I have to be strong, and it was not easy. So the 3 days passed. My family supported me also. They gave me some money to have some side money, some loan. I packed my one bag, Borna. I didn't have nothing. I didn't even have a laptop because I didn't want to take my PC from home. I had a cell phone and I had a bag full of stuff. And a lot of hope for myself that I can manage to do things right, and everything that I did wrong or happened wrong in Croatia, that I can make it right. So I was sitting on that bus, and it was actually amazing. I will tell you, it was amazing. From the first moment when I arrived in Munich, I had no fear. You know, I went to the airport, I took a shuttle bus for that hotel. I went to the hotel. It was like really, really amazing, Borna. And this is the story how I ended. This is the story how I ended in Germany. And just give me a second.
Nice, man. Kind of went the same for me. After that job, I kind of took on a few other sales jobs. I thought that sales will be the solution, because if I can put in more work and more time, the same way as you did, that I could get more results. And I worked sales jobs that I didn't like, so I didn't get any results there. Then I worked in real estate. I really loved that, but again, another story with the boss. I was supposed to close a deal, but I couldn't be in two places at the same time. And then the boss kind of took over a deal, told me that it didn't happen, but it kind of did. So yeah, I later found out and was very disappointed about that. And it was not like, I would imagine somebody would do that if the amount of money was huge, you know, like it was like millions or tens of thousands of kunas or dollars or euros, whatever. But it was like, I don't know how much it was. It was like 30 euro, something like that. You know, like it's a lunch.
That's so right. Yeah, it's not even a good lunch, you know. And yeah. That's so continue.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that after a while I was kind of fed up with it, and I just wanted to kind of like, you know, switch things up, and I decided for Ireland. Germany was also on top of my list because I also speak German, and I was thinking about it. I also have some friends and family in Austria, so that was like a top three, like Germany, Ireland, and Austria. But then again, I decided for Ireland because my girlfriend got a job there first.
So what actually? Whereas my story.
Can you hear the dog there?
Yeah, I hear it again. Yeah.
Hold on, let me just get my shotgun for a second.
So actually, to come to the conclusion of my story and why I'm telling this is, should people leave Croatia? Yes and no. So 80% is for yes, that everybody should give himself the opportunity to work in an environment, in a developed and open country. It doesn't have to be Germany like me, but actually it's one of the better choices. If you want to earn money, And if you want to profile yourself and get the opportunity to make something out of yourself, it should be Germany. If you have another aspects what are important for your life, you should search something else. Like if you want to open your own company and work worldwide, Europe-wide, you should go to Ireland, like where you are now. If you want to have some nice time to chill but still work in a good environment, it's always Spain or the coast of France, where people actually talk English. You can also decide to go to the Netherlands. But the thing is that a lot of smart people in Croatia who are really good, and when it goes to the IT industry, to the marketing industry, they can work remote. And they satisfy themselves to work for Croatian companies for like example of €1,000 in a month. Let's go 1,500. It's a good money for Croatia, but you still have to think how much taxes you pay in Croatia and how much money you lose. If you would start to work for a worldwide company, or you work for a smaller company that operates out of a bigger state in Europe, like Germany, Ireland, Spain, France, Holland, the Netherlands, it's much better for you to do that because you will get bunch more money out of it, but actually you don't have to have more money. But if you profile yourself in a huge company, you will always get the opportunity to work remote, and then you can move back to Croatia and to live and work there, but actually not have to pay taxes there because you only stay there as a tourist, but you still have the opportunity to do it. So my advice to everybody, doesn't matter if you're young, if you're old, doesn't matter what you want to do in your life or what your path is gonna be, you should leave Croatia. You should leave Croatia for your better tomorrow. I know it's really hard because the mentality of the Croatians, it's one of the main points why I left also Croatia. Like, I'm an open guy. Like, I appreciate everybody. My first thinking about other people is that it's important what person you are, not where you're from, what kind of color you are, what sex you are, or what are you doing in your life. Everything what I did in my life teaches me that it's important to appreciate the person for the person who she or he is. So actually, sorry. Actually, what's really important is that because of that mentality, people are not leaving Croatia because they think, oh, I have enough. Yeah, you have enough, and you have your family around you and everything. But the way the world is built right now, not right now with Corona, but 1 year ago, it was easy. It was easy. You would earn enough money to sit on the plane once a month, every 2 months. You could take vacations. You could see other places in the world, like, it's really important also, for example, how my wife always says, and she's right, but I hope she doesn't hear me now, that you have to travel.
We'll cut it out of the
we cut it out of the video, yeah. You have really to travel a lot. Your eyes have to experience a lot of different things. Your brain, your soul, and your mouth, the food, you have to experience a lot of cultures. And if you want to do that, unfortunately, you need a lot of money. Because not everybody can travel with a backpack through the whole world without sleeping in a comfort place. So you have money. And that are things that I'm saying, like, since I'm in Germany, I see my family less. And it's hard. I can say it's hard, like, I miss my mother, I miss my father, I miss my brother, I miss my friends. But the thing is, that's the only thing what I miss about Croatia, are the persons. I don't miss nothing else there. And that's the thing that you have to decide. You have to put it on a page and say, okay, here is my family. But when I leave it, I will get the experience to fight with it, and I will get the pleasure for not being in Croatia out of a lot of things. And like, we visit a lot of places, like before the Corona, before everything, me and my wife had opportunity to travel a lot more. Yeah, we worked a lot lately, so we didn't have time. But when you decide, okay, let's go 2-3 days somewhere, let's do something. Like, let's book a cheap flight to Spain and spend 2-3 days in Spain. It's easy because we don't have to think what is coming tomorrow, because we know, okay, we have a budget, we have enough money, and it's really, really amazing for us.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people in Croatia don't have that opportunity, that they do like once a year a bigger holiday just because they need more time to save up to get to the point where they can go to a holiday without worrying. Yeah, I noticed the same thing. Like moving to Ireland, it really kind of got easier. Me and my girlfriend, we traveled to a lot of different places, and buying a plane ticket in Croatia was a lot of money for me. Here it was kind of like pick a country, like it doesn't matter, right? Like €100 difference doesn't play that much big of a role. While in Croatia, €100 would be like a lot. You'd be like, oh man, like €100, like you would calculate, you would like stop and be like, oh, you know, like if I make a wrong choice there, like the €100 is lost. And I'm kind of sad that the whole country can't get to a stronger level for more people to kind of experience that, because I also agree with your wife that it is necessary, and it's important to broaden your horizons. Like I think it's possible to get that in Croatia as well. For instance, like you haven't seen all the villages and all the places in Croatia. Croatia is huge, basically, if you want to travel like that. So you don't know it. But the further you go, the more radical the change will be. If you compare it to China, let's say, where you have like a 10 million city that rose up in the last 3 years, and it wasn't on the map beforehand, right? That's something that you don't see every day in Croatia or in Europe. And seeing something that can really broaden your horizon. So the more of these experiences you can gather, the kind of more flexible your mindset becomes. And I think that's kind of one of the main points that I want to do with this podcast, is to kind of like bring different people with different perspectives, to kind of, for everyone who's listening, to kind of get different insights from everywhere. I also find myself in the same spot with moving to Ireland, man. I feel a lot of things overlap there. I also miss my friends and family, and this year we had it planned to go back in May, because my birthday is in May, and we just wanted to see everyone, you know, like spend some time together and you know, have a good time. But then the lockdown happened, and now we haven't been in Croatia for more than a year. And now it seems like a really long time, you know, and I'm really looking forward to this Christmas and everything, to spend time together with everyone. But I also think that basically, even if you spend that much time apart from friends and family, there's a lot of things that you gain and kind of have benefits from that side. And for me, the biggest one is actually to experience the culture and kind of see the differences. And I always think, like, imagine in 10 years you go back to Croatia. You can always start working in a company and be like, look, I have international experience. I've seen this type of company, how these people do that. And you can bring that knowledge to Croatia and expand like Croatian economy. I'm actually very impressed with Ireland. I don't know how you're familiar with their history, but they were in a very, very tough spot like 100 years ago, not even that long. A quarter of their population died out of starvation, hunger, disease, and all of that. And a bunch of people moved out to the US. And the country was basically empty and was in a very, very tough, like even worse than Croatia. And in a very short time, in these last like 50 years, they made a huge jump forward. And I'm very impressed with that. And I would love to, you know, like pick up some tricks and learn from them, like things that can be copied over to Croatia, you know, so that Croatia can kind of do the same thing. Like they're opened their borders a lot in their cities for international companies and made adjustments so it's easier for them. So I think we can kind of do the same, you know, and I didn't give up on Croatia in any way. I just like look at the things that can be used and kind of helpful.
The thing is that unfortunately you're right. On paper, everything what you said sounds amazing, like really amazing, but I cannot agree with you. The problem is you can really compare Ireland to Croatia, because Croatia had the 90s. that was 20 years ago, where we survived a civil war in ex-Yugoslavia. So it was a place where Croatia left the communism and started to adopt democracy for its own country. Democracy, yeah, sorry. And the thing was that nothing since then became better, unfortunately, because Croatia is working, unfortunately, against everything that's great in normal human reasoning. Like, look, Ireland. They said, okay, huge companies will pay us less taxes. So the big three of the IT industries, or big two, Google and Facebook, they moved there. The biggest online shop in the world, Amazon, moved to Ireland, their headquarters. So they said, okay, we will have less taxes, but we will still have income. We will have income from the three biggest companies almost in the world. Like, their shares are some of the shareholders, like the shares of that companies are some of the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
And Ireland said it doesn't matter how much we make. If we bring companies who make millions and we get 1% out of it, that's already amazing. If you have 3, 4, 5 companies, not millions, I'm talking in billions, like hundreds of billions per year revenue. And what is Croatia doing? Croatia is taking that small amount of companies that they have, and they're taking 20% of their earnings. Like, there's no companies anymore in Croatia that can say, okay, I mean, there is always some good companies in Croatia who are not giving up on the country, but you earn less because that companies make less revenue. They have to pay much more for their workers, and in the end, what happens is that you earn less than Ireland. Like every country in Europe since the 1990s, so when Croatia becomes a democracy, there is a lot of countries who are behind Croatia. Like, there are two really great examples. There are the Czech Republic and there Romania. And now both countries in the brutto per person income are above Croatia. And everybody was making fun out of them. Like, ha, gypsies in Romania. No, that people decided to turn the ways. They decided, okay, we have to work on some other things. We have a great IT industry. We will start selling our products out to Europe. We will start to remotely work for whole Europe because we are cheaper. Because when you pay somebody in Romania, it's cheaper than in Germany. But they decided we will keep everything in Romania. And we will help people to improve. In the end, like you see, Croatia is just going down. And to conclude this point about Croatia, is that at this moment, there are actually 1 or 2 positive things that I can point out in Croatia. Everything else is, for me, unfortunately, a tragedy.
All right.
I'm not talking about the small people. Sorry, I'm not talking about the small people, because I know a lot of amazing Croatians, and I love them, I appreciate them, and respect them for their work, their knowledge, their skills. But I'm now talking about big points.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the main things that this podcast kind of focuses on, is to point out the positive things. Give us a few examples that you see really positive about Croatia, and then we'll kind of, I would like to transfer the kind of difference that you see as well, from like working a career in Germany and in Croatia. Like, what are some of the differences that you see?
Okay, so I will first start with the points, and then we will go to how it is working in Germany.
Yeah.
So there are 2 points that I will point out about Croatia and that are really positive. Actually, I will make 3 points. So I will make 3 points. Yeah, you see, that's the reason why I left Croatia. Because, like, you think I was thinking about it? No, like.
Yeah. Nobody from outside of the Balkan area would understand that, but doesn't matter. Just keep going.
Yeah, so I want to make 3 points. First of all, it's Mate Rimac and the Rimac company. So I'm really familiar with his work because I went to the same high school as he did. Mm-hmm. So I heard a lot of stories about him, and I will not talk too much. That guy is a genius. that guy is a huge genius, and I have nothing but respect for that guy. Like, he is everything that Croatia wants and needs. He decided, after he made the plans for Concept 1, he went out of the box to search for some investors. He found investors. Ferrari also invested in him to help him to build Concept 1. Concept 1 was the fastest electric car in the world, or I think it still is. And the thing is that he decided to stay in Croatia. He didn't went out. You know, he was ready to build a huge multi-million company to change the future of electric cars and how we know them. He was ready to make some serious money, to make it shorter, and he decided to stay in Croatia. He decided that he will help people there to work there, to have a good paycheck, and how the tree is going, then he is helping somebody, giving a good paycheck, a good life-work balance, everybody else would be happier. The people who work, their families, everything would make a big circle of happy people. So he is one of the points that I respect about Croatia. He also, so that comes to the second point, what's really important. It's about one city. It's about one city. It's called Sveta Nedelja. It's the place where my parents live. And it's the most amazing city in Croatia.
Just to translate it for everyone not from Croatia, Sveta Nedelja means Holy Sunday.
Holy Sunday. So translated, the city is called Holy Sunday. It's actually it's a city since it was a village. 10 years ago, they made it a city. So we had to choose a new, how to say, give me the word, the head
mayor?
of the city, a new mayor. Thank you. Yeah, like brain fart. So the thing was, we had to choose a new mayor, and for the first time, the city decided to choose a young, educated, highly respected Croatian guy called Dario Zurovec. Again, from Sveta Nedelja. I know him personally. Like, we know each other from seeing or drinking a coffee together in a group. He's like the best that Croatia can offer after Mate Rimac. He's an amazing, amazing dude. Really intelligent, highly educated, and he sees the world how it is. And he decided to release Sveta Nedelja from City, Texas. So that's a
mind blown.
That it is mind blowing. Now it sounds funny, but if you have City, Texas, everybody who lives in that city, the companies have to pay the taxes from their revenue, and everybody who earns money from their brutto paycheck, they have to pay that percent. Dario Zurovec said, no, we will not do it. We are smart enough, we are capable enough, we will get that money, what was for the funds of the city, we will get it our own way. So he decided that he will find another way. What he did is, he released everybody from the city, Texas. A lot of big companies, Mate Rimac, they came to Sveta Nedelja. They decided we will stay here because my people will earn more if they live in Sveta Nedelja or in Zagreb. So he decided, okay, we will make a big thing out of it. And they did. They did. Sveta Nedelja is growing rapidly. They have an amazing city parliament. Like, the people who work with the mayor are all young or highly educated, and they give a good prospect for the future of Croatia. The problem is, we are talking about 1 of 1,000 in Croatia. And
Even less. Yeah.
yes, and it's not gonna change anything. So unfortunately, these are the two only real positive things. The third thing, that I will point out before we go into Germany, is that it's a region in Croatia. It's called Istrian. And I want to point it out because the people there who live there are hugely open-minded. They're also well educated, and they are really amazing people. And that region is the future of Croatia if the cards go good. Because this sounds now funny, I met a lot of foreign people, like Germans, Austrians, also a guy from the Netherlands. and a British guy who all decided to leave their countries and to go back to Croatia, but to Istria. Not because of the money, not because of the taxes, but because of the mentality of the people. And that is the third and the last positive point about Croatia. Everything else is just bullshit. Sorry,
Right.
I mean, I have to say it like this because it's my opinion and I stand behind it.
Your opinion. I could come up with like a few more things that I think are very good, but all right, look, man, everybody has a right to their own opinion. Can you compare maybe like the point that I hinted to before? Like now you spent some time already in Germany and you worked already in Croatia. What are the main differences that you see in work mentality, work culture, career progression, and things like that?
So the thing is that in Germany, when you start to work here, you get straight up your contract. Straight up, you know what is going to happen. Like, what are your goals at the end of the month, end of the year? You know exactly how to plan your future. So, what is one of the big differences between Croatia and Germany is the safety. So you get your own safety. Once when you sit here and do things, you get your own safety and everything is amazing. Like, okay, now you can just focus on the job and on yourself. You don't have to think, oh, what will happen tomorrow? No, you have a contract and that's it. The second main point is the appreciation for the side of your bosses, the management, or the one who owns the company for who you work for.
Mm-hmm. Can you give an example?
Yeah, for example, here in Germany, if you start working for like an international company or a German company, what's also really important to notice, when you start to work and it passed some time, you come there and you say to them, listen, I'm here along this. I did this, and I improved myself in some of these regions and that regions. I would like to have a raise. I would like some benefits. And of course, they sit down with you and they tell you, okay, we can give you this. And they're open to a conversation where they will help you to get that what you deserve. And unfortunately, I didn't have that feeling in Croatia, and I have it now. I have it now, and it makes me really happy. It makes me really happy to see that people can everywhere make something out of themselves here in Germany. And that, I mean, in the end, that's the reason why I came here, because that was my wish. My wish was to improve myself and everything around me. And
do you see like a lot of opportunities where someone could kind of like go from one position to a higher position, or maybe even like from one position to a different type of position in the same company?
Yes, I would call it the from zero to hero
Okay.
approach. It's like one of my favorite sentences. The thing is that you can do it. If you work in a big company and you invested some time and they see that you're capable of more things, they see, okay, this guy has it, they're always open to conversations for your improvement. When you say to them, listen, I work now as a college graduate, I want to improve myself, the Germans will always be open to give you an opportunity to study and work. So they will say to you, listen, we have this amazing university. It's gonna take 3 years. We will take it from your paycheck. So if you earn, for example, 1,500 euro, you will lose 500 because the company will pay your university. But on the other hand, okay, you have to lower your life standards, but you know after 3 years you will get everything back in a couple of months. So you just have to be patient and to let the flow work and to work hard on yourself and on the way. And a lot of companies in Germany, example, when you search for a job, and this is like a really important point for everybody who wants to come to Germany. If your German is good enough and you want to change your career and also find a job, a lot of big companies are giving you the opportunity to make a complete course to finish the high school to finish the college and working for them simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of the best systems in the world when we are talking, for example, about high school. Because the people who are getting educated in Germany, when they decided what they want to do, they not only have to study, they also have to work in that area. And a lot of companies decided that, okay, we will take practicants, people who we will build them up to
Interns.
We will take interns, we will pay them, we will give them a smaller loan, yeah, but they will pay for the education. They will pay for all your exams, and for the final exam, what's actually really expensive.
Nice.
And that system brings Germany to the point where it is. Not only because it's not like just for the German system. It's a system for everybody who agrees to bring itself to that level. For example, you speak B1 German, like or B2. B2 is not impossible. B2, everybody can do it if you give yourself enough motivation, because that motivation will pay off in a span of 2-3 years.
Mm-hmm.
After that 2-3 years where you get the B2 or even B1, you start your internship. On the same time, you start your German class, because a lot of people will accept you only if you speak English, but they will also expect from you in the internship to learn German. And when you do all the things, in the end of the 3-4 year period, or 2 years, depends how fast it's going, you will be able to have an amazing living. You will make something out of yourself, and it's the greatest opportunity that anybody in the world should use. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, it's that what makes Germany an amazing country.
Awesome stuff, man. I noticed that since in my last job, I worked in recruitment for the last 2 years, and I've seen a lot of companies in Germany. I always love it when I see they have like a education fund that they give you, even if you're not an intern. Like, let's say you have 10 years of experience and you're really, really good at what you do. They still value you improving yourself, and they will pay for courses like, I don't know, you want to learn software development on the side, they will pay for your course either online or for a conference. They will give you a few days off so you can go to the conference, and they encourage people to work on themselves. And I think that's a very smart move. Like, imagine imagine you had 10 people working for your company and you keep them educating themselves for a longer time. In 10 years, you have like really, really good managers. They're not workers anymore. They can do their own thing, and they're leaders in their own field, and then you can expand the company and grow and make more money, and it kind of makes more sense. Nobody offered that to me in Croatia. Oh, sorry, no, I was offered that once in Croatia. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, all the other companies didn't, so again, a lot of concepts that we can still learn from Germany and other places as well. Tell me, how's the work-life balance in Germany? Like, do Germans spend most of their time working, or do they, like, after 5 o'clock when the shift is done, do they just like unplug and go home? What's the difference there, and how does that work?
So I spent a lot of time around Europe, and I was in a lot of cities, and I met a lot of people from everywhere in the world, and nobody appreciates their work-life balance as the Germans. Like, seriously, they are hard-working people, but there's one good thing about that, is that they know for what they're working for. Like, they will not agree with the average. They will not agree with nothing below the average. They will only think above the average, and they deserve it because they work hard for it. Mm-hmm. And of course, there are bad examples in Germany, but if you're a normal person, it doesn't matter for you in your life because you're on your way to success. The Germans, like, that's why, like, I left Croatia because I just want to point it out because this will make a lot of sense. I left to Croatia because of work and improvement. I left Croatia because of the mentality, and I came to Germany because, except work, there's two things that amaze me. One is how people love their group free time activities, mm-hmm. and how they manage about every activity there is in the world they managed to make it competitive.
Mm-hmm.
They managed to push other people who love their activities and hobbies to go farther on, to say, yes, we can do more, we will do more. That's an amazing thing. Second thing, what's really more, probably, yeah, it's really important. You can drink beer on the street. Like, it's great. Like, for everybody who is young and who works, who walks, doesn't matter. You take a beer in your hand, for example, if you love beer, and you walk around on the street and drink your beer. The guy next to you in a 10,000 euro suit and a Rolex is doing the same thing. The people sit down for a second in a bench somewhere. They turn on a cigarette. They smoke. They do things in the walk. It's actually really amazing, and it makes me happy. So to come to the work-life balance is that the German, after they work a lot, and they don't agree with nothing average or below, they really take care of their work-life balance. And that's something that helped me a lot to evolve myself physically and mentally in some things. We will come later to the hobbies and sports and things I like. So yes, they appreciate their work-life balance, and nowhere in the world you have the opportunity to work hard and party hard. Because the thing is that if you want to party hard, your work hard has to be paid enough that you can give yourself the things that you need. If you want a super expensive bicycle to make bicycle routes every weekend, go get it. You earned it. If you want a high-end PC for gaming, go get it and buy it yourself. If you make any sports, you can buy easily sports equipment or rent venues, like venues for tennis, for badminton, volleyball, doesn't matter. And whatever you do in sports or in your free time, you can find a community. And the Germans always want to have their communities.
Yeah, that's good. Before we go into the work-life balance on your side and basically how you spend your free time, Stepan, for everyone listening, where can they find you? On what can they contact you if they want more information on what you do, and do you use social media for that one?
Yeah, I can be contacted most easiest way is over Instagram. So we will put a link on my Instagram profile, I hope.
Yeah,
we will put it. Good guy. So, and write me over there if you need anything. We will come also to some other parts right now where I can help you. And I also hope that I can help somebody to make a change or to decide that what was the last drop in his life to make a change. That would make me happy.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. We'll talk about that more in the second part of the podcast, but let's go into a short 1 minute water break.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Cool. And thanks everyone for listening. We'll be right back. Yeah, I think you can turn it on again if you're ready.
Yeah, great.
All right, let me know when we can start.
Yeah, I'm ready. Just
All
a
right,
second.
perfect.
Okay, let's go.
And welcome back from this short water break. We're back at the Uncle Gold podcast. Today we have Stjepan Miomic here with us. We're talking about leaving your country, getting work in a different country, what's the difference between Germany, Croatia, Ireland, and some useful career tips and kind of like mindset stuff that's always useful to talk about. For this next half, we kind of touched on it. The first part is kind of the work-life balance, and basically I asked Stjepan how Germans spend their free time and do they value it, and he had a really good point of like they really do value it. Can you tell me, how do you spend your time? Because I remember that when we used to work together, you pretty much had your schedule fully booked. Like everything was full. You, apart from meeting a lot of people, you spend a lot of time at home as well, on Twitch and YouTube and games and different stuff like that. That also interests me, and I want to really get deeper into this topic because everyone who's listening, they might think like, oh, games are for kids. But I really do feel that the Uncle Gold podcast has to make a point out of the rising gaming industry and anime industry and everything connected to it, and just gonna go in the idea of how much money can be made there. And I hope we can get through all of that in this podcast. If not, we'll do a part 2 and we'll invite Stjepan back to the podcast. But let's start with the first step. Like, Stjepan, how do you spend your free time?
So mostly how I spend my free time is that as you work a lot, of course, and you also have to find time to manage it. I'm also married to an amazing young lady, and so you have to balance everything, like household and your hobbies, your things. And I try to find always a perfect balance. It doesn't work always. Sometimes I put something on the side, and you never manage to make everybody happy. But the thing is that you have to plan your free time, and you have to focus on the things that you love. Like just the things that you love, that makes you emotionally happy, and what makes you physically feel better. Like sports, socializing with people, and in my case, it's a huge part of my life are video games and the gaming industry and esports, what we will actually touch later a bit. So what I'm doing is I try always to find a perfect balance where I can spend time with people, spend time with my wife, and also spend time for myself where I play, read, or watch something. And it's really important that you put a lot of that part in your free time. Like also to bring parts that actually can bring you farther. Like read things. Be always on the latest updates about everything around yourself. Like especially in these days now, it's really important to know what is going on around yourself. I'm a huge fan, and a big thing for me is Reddit. I know a lot of people don't know what Reddit is, but Reddit is actually, for me, the most amazing internet platform there it is, because you can find everything in the world on Reddit. Whatever you want, whatever you like, whatever is interesting you will find a community and a place where people are talking about it. It doesn't matter what it is, finances, gaming, anime, movies, you will always find the right community. And also the world news, some things are presented on Europe, they are forbidden on social media. For example, I will point out the last riots in Paris, when they bring a new law where it's forbidden to photograph and make videos of police officers. And not a lot of media actually said what happened in Paris. What actually happened was a huge riot. And Reddit was directly there. They directly had the feed, they directly had the information. So you should also put some time, some of your free time in a platform or a place where you can inform yourself and learn something new. And I give a big advice to everybody to use Reddit. Just open the homepage of Reddit. It's pretty simple. And after that, you will see the biggest feeds of the most important subreddits. And if we're talking now about world news, finances, politics, even Q-Dog videos, yeah, you can find them also. But on Reddit, they are really just amazing because everything that comes up on Reddit is decided by their users. So nobody can decide what you will watch except the community that you're part of. And if you say, okay, for me, it's really important to be a part of the League of Legends community, I only see things that the League of Legends community upvotes because it's important for me. And it's a thing with Reddit about everything. Whatever you're interested in your life, you should go on Reddit and search for it. So the other things that I try to balance is you should read more. Like, that's a thing that I personally have to admit. I'm not doing it enough because I always focus on other things and it's a big mistake. You should read more. And it's a great advice that I'm trying to implement for myself, but I'm kind of struggling with it. And you have to put a fight up it. Leave the electronics out of your bedroom. So I'm talking about everything. I'm seriously talking TVs, cell phones, laptops. Go on Amazon, buy yourself a 10 € electronic clock to wake you up. The only thing that you need is a good book or your Kindle for that example, because in the end of the day, your routine doesn't matter if you work all night and go late to sleep, if you go early to sleep and wake up early. Everybody finds this balance in life in some point. What is really important is is that you get rid of all the electronics in the living room. And I'm actually not good at it right now. I'm trying to always go to sleep 1 hour before I usually go, and just open my Kindle and try to read. Try to read something. Doesn't matter if it's science, if it's fiction, or if it's a book that will help me improve myself. It's really important to do it. So that's also something I'm trying to implement in my life, is to do that. And unfortunately, the rest of it is like Corona fucked everything up in my life about hobbies. So we can come later to that topic about my hobbies because it's also a longer part.
I like the part where you talked about Reddit. I also think it's a great platform. A lot of people don't appreciate it. I feel like it's not in the main kind of focus of everyone. It's not mainstream, I would say it, although they say that Reddit is the place where the internet happens before it happens. So it's an interesting platform. It's very different. Like, I didn't use it my whole life, and I started using it this year because I heard that there are a lot of very useful places, like forums where you can read about podcasting. And since I got into the Uncle Gold podcast, I wanted to kind of read up on like useful things. And I found a lot of communities where people are posting questions about gear, about how to start, how to promote, and just like generally useful information where you can like really find out what people are going through who have started a podcast already and like have 5 episodes out and they're trying to figure out things. So I'm reading stuff like that all the time. And also related to YouTube, I think it's very useful. You get a lot of useful information. Like somebody says like, oh, I'm on my 150th subscriber. I did this and this to get there, you know, and they kind of describe their journey and what they're doing. And then you can have a look and kind of compare it to your own channel. And I really learned a lot through Reddit. It's not something I was used to, so it didn't come naturally to me. So I kind of had to force myself at the start, but now I love it. And yeah, books are also an amazing thing. I agree 100% on that one. I'm stuck on a book that I started reading a few months ago, and since I'm very busy, I usually like every 2 months I spend one weekend like reading, and then I'm like forgotten half of the book that I'm reading already, you know. So I really have to step up my reading game, but I do prefer audiobooks, and it saves so much time, like when you're traveling somewhere. All right, 2020 COVID excluded, when you're going to work or when you're going for a walk, a jog, walking your dog, washing the dishes, anything like that, it's just a time waster. And then you add audiobooks to it, you're basically learning while you're doing something else. And I read so many books through that, it made my life so much easier. I learned so much, and I would highly recommend audiobooks to anyone. I'm thinking of getting the Audible license and just like downloading books there. Usually I've been reading them on YouTube, the ones that I can find, but I consumed a lot of them, and I think I need something more serious. I'm considering Audible now. Tell me, what are some of the books that you're reading, man?
So before I come to the books, I want to come to a point about Reddit that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. For example, if you want to improve your game, doesn't matter if it's YouTubing, if it's content making, if it's streaming, you of course you can find a lot of tutorials on YouTube, but that tutorials are made to be glamorous. They have to have a big effect, like this is the best tutorial for your OBS. This is the best for your podcast. The difference is when you find people talking about their struggles, about podcasting, about YouTubing, content creating, people on Reddit are normal people. Like you said, 150 subscribers. He's not making a glamorous video out of it. He's describing in his own words his struggle and his way to there. And that's why we should appreciate more Reddit. Because there are actually people like you. Like when you open that big YouTube video for somebody who has 2 million clicks on how to improve your audio settings for a podcast, or which way to go, how to build it. Yeah, but he tells you what to do, not how to do it. And if you go on Reddit, you will see people on, for example, the subreddit called podcasting. The last couple of days I read a lot there, and I found actually people who said, yeah, I have 20 listeners on my live podcast. It's actually amazing. There are actually people who doesn't want to monetize, people who doesn't want to make money out of it, but to make somebody's life better. Like you also want to help somebody with the Uncle Goat podcast. And there, when you started it, for sure, there you would find things that they pointed out. They're actually really helpful. And that's why I said that Reddit is so great, because the community that you become a part of as a podcaster is actually amazing, because all the others are also podcasters and everybody started small. And that's why I pointed out. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned there, like you mentioned gaming earlier. Do you want us to go into that, or do you want to start with the books first?
No, I think we should go into gaming now.
All right. Let's just start by making the point that everyone who's not in gaming are first of all missing out. It's super fun. It's like the upgraded version of the games that we used to play when we were kids. Now we have serious technology coming in, serious companies, content developers, script writers. The animations are getting better and better. We have some very creative ideas coming out with smaller games, larger games, single player games, multiplayer games. There's a whole spectrum coming here. And in the last few years, we really saw the rise of gaming business. And a lot of people really got rich off of playing games online. And not just by making millions of tournament money that they won, but also through streaming and brand deals and creating their own content and kind of establishing mini companies for themselves that they kind of improved through time and gone to create like huge businesses. I'm a huge fan of that, and I think that's a dream for a lot of people who kind of like love to play games, and they see an opportunity, like they see Ninja streaming on Twitch and they're like, oh, I want to be a streamer like Ninja, right? And then they start their journey and kind of change their lives into doing basically what they want. I think that's a huge thing, and I don't know if you follow Gary Vee online, but I'm a huge fan of him. He's this entrepreneurial figure from the US. He's big on social media. He basically says that even if you don't make the same amount of money that you would in a really strong corporate job, you compensate it by doing what you love and what makes you happy. And I think playing games, that's something for a lot of people with exactly that. Like, they probably won't earn that much money, but they will be happy playing the game that they love. Let's dive into this more. Like, what are some of the games that you play? I know that you're also a streamer on Twitch and that you're a huge fan of League of Legends, but tell us this story from your side.
So I will start with first with a short story about myself, and then I will dive into the gaming culture and the gaming mentality, and what changed through the years. And then we will come also to a big point about this. It's esports and jobs in esports, and of course streaming, content making, and Twitch. So the gaming culture changed. Actually, it didn't change a lot the last 10 years, but it got wider. So before that, gamers were people who, how to phrase it, people who lived in their basement, people who were socially awkward because everything what was there was doing was sitting alone in front of a screen and playing and playing. And 10 years ago, the world was different. You couldn't share your thoughts, your success with nothing and nobody. So right now, it rise. The 10 years of gaming culture, gaming industry changed and are ready to change the world and how it looks. Because right now, everybody who plays whatever game they play, they have other people doing the same and they know it. And you don't have to be alone anymore in that. You don't have to be that guy in that basement. It's just like a metaphor. That guy in that basement that is alone all the time. What you have to be and can be right now is some part of a community. You can socialize yourself over other games or whatever you're playing. It doesn't matter. Today there is a community and there is a way to be part of it, and it will help you a lot. And it helped the gaming culture and the gaming industries. Before, you remember, the people who played before, they didn't care how they look. They didn't care about their social status. Right now, gaming culture and gaming industry, it's a lot about social status. Mm-hmm. So you can look good, you can be smart, and you can still play games. 10 years ago, everybody would say, no, you cannot play games, it's a waste of time. Yeah, probably in some way it wastes your time. But if it helps yourself to find the peace, the inner peace, to improve your emotional status, it's amazing. And that changed a lot. That the people now are free to play games and to talk about it. Like there are a lot of communities out there that change the mentality of the gamers. Today, like Discord, it's an amazing software. Discord changed the gaming industry completely, in my opinion, because I play multiplayer games. I'm online really competitive, and I also like to stream. But one thing that I started to do lately is I started to follow developers. Mm-hmm. Developers who are working on new, interesting products. Before that, 10 years ago, you couldn't do nothing. Like, if you were developing a game, you would have to find people to come in and to play it. Like, you couldn't bring out a beta test because you cannot put it online. There are no clouds. Thank God now we have Steam. So what Steam and Discord did together, they found a way, it's called early access. Mm-hmm. So every developer has an opportunity to make the beta version or even alpha version of their game and to put it online. That means you already can start earning money by selling that game. For example, now you sell it for, let's make an example, €10. An indie game, like a 2D platform run and jump game.
Yeah.
And you put it on early access on Steam, and you open a Discord community. What you are doing right now is people are buying your game because they're interested. Also, because people allow hit and run indie games. So people are buying that game, and they automatically see, okay, they have a Discord channel. Let's go into it. The Discord channel has a place just for the people who play it.
Mm-hmm.
So you have two opportunities. You can leave comments on Steam, what is not working, the pros and cons of the game, and you can speak with the developers directly on Discord. Was that possible 10 years ago? No. Because the developers 10 years ago just had that, they had a test running, and that's it. Right now, every mistake, every bug in the game can be fixed in a couple of weeks. And it's going online. It's directly getting updates. So that there are two-way things. The games are getting better, and the development companies are getting financed earlier than before. So nobody has to make sacrifices, like to cut their budget, to let people go, to wait longer, because they get feedback directly. And it's one of the most amazing things about the gaming culture and mentality will change. And because the people are seeing, okay, I found a bug in the game, even if I'm alone. For example, what's amazing now, an amazing game right now that's into development. Yeah, there are a lot of survival games right now. Mm-hmm. And one that I was playing lately with my friend, hello Timo, I think he's watching us. So it's called Raft. And they put early access, they're keeping now for a year, but what they're doing is they're taking direct input from all the gamers and they're implementing the game. They're adding new chapters. They're building up the game to be longer, to be so that you can put more creativity in it, more time, without changing the price. Because they say, okay, you already bought the game, we are upgrading it, but we are thankful because you trusted in us when we were in early access. And that's a great thing about gaming culture and gaming mentality, what changed a lot in the last 10 years. And we can be really thankful because this will be the way that nobody ever has to play a bad game again. If the game is bad, if you see the comments, for example, on Steam that the game is bad, you can immediately know they're not working on it anymore. They're not giving enough resources, quit it. And that changed the gaming culture because right now, every time you buy a game or you want to buy a game, you know directly what you're diving into. And that is a thing that, for me, made the gaming industry one of the best industries in the world.
Yeah, agree. There are a lot of companies jumping in on that. And there are a lot of companies that have nothing to do with gaming that are kind of jumping in because they see a lot of eyes on tournaments and they're willing to give like sponsorship money just to put like their name on the t-shirt of the players, you know. I also think it's important to kind of get into the community and meet the players and everything. I think that would kind of be more useful for companies that are trying to get into the gaming industry. I think that it's still far away for a lot of companies. Like imagine a bank, like what can they do to, you know, like integrate themselves into the system apart from adding money? But I think that if they think about it, that there are a lot of opportunities for them. They can even develop a game for themselves, like how to save money made by this bank, right? And they make a really like a platform game where kids learn how to save their money, you know, something like that to teach them, like educational games. I think educational games still have a ways to go. The most money is in competitive like online games, but I feel that education games have not like risen to the level where they should be yet. And I think that we'll see a lot more of those coming. Although there were like all the time there were like educational games that you could download, but they weren't really that high quality. And I think that will get better with time as well. But let's go into streaming a little bit. That's something that I'm interested in as well. I've been looking at a lot of streamers. I've been looking a lot into YouTube. And now I have a question for you. Like, although I kind of know the answer already, I know that you're on Twitch, but there are multiple ways that someone can stream. There are live streams on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, Reddit. Now, there's a lot of like places where you can put your stream, right? Microsoft had also their own platform, something. I remember, I forgot what it was called.
That was the platform that signed Ninja for 50 million euro.
Yeah, he transferred some Twitch to them, but it seems that they are kind of doing a bad job there. I'm not sure how that's working, but let's go into streaming for a little. What's your opinion on the streaming sphere and everything that's happening right now, and what would you recommend for someone just starting streaming? Like, I'm thinking of investing like maybe 1 day per week just for streaming.
So now we'll start streaming, and we will then from streaming we will try to connect to esports and the esports industry and jobs also. But before that, let's focus on Twitch and streaming. So in today's world, it's actually really hard to get a breakthrough. It's really hard to get a breakthrough because when you start, you're not the first one and you're not the last one. So you have to set up your mentality. You have to set up your hardware and you have to set up your game. These are the 3 most important things to do when you want to start to stream. When we are talking about hardware, like for example, look us now. We are streaming from my PC. So what is important right now is that you have a good connection. You have a good connection, it's the first thing. For that, unfortunately, you cannot have it everywhere. It's like really depending on your building. Like if your building doesn't have glass fiber connections, you cannot get the speed that you need to stream. So the quality of your stream falls down. That actually you are not competitive with the other streamers if you don't have the quality of the stream. That's first thing. Second, you have to have a really good hardware. What it's really important for you is it costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money, but we are now coming back to that part where you're in Germany and you work hard, you stream harder, so you can actually afford that hardware. After you afford the hardware, you set everything up, it comes to your mentality. Who you are and what do you want to be on Twitch. Now, for example, we take now Twitch, but I will come later to the part with content and other streaming websites, but actually are right now a better opportunity than Twitch. So who are you now? You have to pick a game. You have to pick a game where you're good at least below average. You have to be an entertainer and you have to have a good schedule. So if the first 2 things are like okay, the third thing is really important. You have to have a schedule to stream. That means that when you are streaming, stream always in the same time. Try always to tell to your viewers, if it's 1 viewer, 2 viewer, 2,000, try to tell them, I'm thankful that you're here, and every time you need me, I will be here because you know the times when I'm here. And it's really appreciated in the Twitch community. After you set that up, everything what you have to do is to give you some time. You have to give you some time, you have to learn how to do it. In that process, you have to learn how to stream to 0 people. That's like a huge thing, and I know how it feels. It made me sick in some time, because I want to be the entertainer, you know, like I want to explain to the people what I'm doing. Like, I personally prefer to play Teamfight Tactics. It's a mode in League of Legends, it's an auto chess mode that raised in the last 3 years. I'm really good at it, really good. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to help other people to be at least as good as I. I'm not great, like by no means. There are 10,000 better players than me. But I'm the 10,001st on the ladder, and I wanted to teach everybody how to do it. because I'm a guy, I have to win to feel success, not just to be a part of it. Like, I have to battle for it. Like, I have to go hard when it goes about games, and I want to win. And I wanted to give that mentality to the people, but it's really hard when nobody is watching. So when you start getting viewers, you will get anxiety, because how can I talk to them now? Are they listening? How will they react to me? Like, and when I started, like, I still don't have a lot of viewers, but I'm trying to build my community because I also have to get in a better schedule. But what's really important is when the people start asking questions, answer them. Be there for your community. Because even if you're not a streamer with 10,000 views and an amazing community, or actually the community is not always amazing when you have so many views, it's mostly troll in Twitch, but smaller streamers have a consistent community. Because what I learned is, like, 4 or 5 people, 10 people are watching me, and they're coming 2 more. They give me a follow, they give me a subscribe, and they go there and they tell to, and I asked, I had some viewers from Korea, they were watching at the beginning, and I asked them, hey, so dude, nice to have you here, but in Teamfight Tactics you have people who are number 1 in NA, number 1 in Europe, and I'm like number 160. I'm like number 500 on this server. And he said, yeah, but what I want is that I can communicate with you. When I put a question in Twitch chat, you're answering what I want to know. It's not getting eaten up of the bad community. And what I'm saying to everybody who wants to start streaming, stream to 0 people if it's thousands of them. And appreciate every question and answer it with full of your heart. And always try to win. Never go the route to troll or to be somebody funny, because it's always better to be the one who wins. If you get a consistent community of 10 people who are always there for you, 20, 30, doesn't matter, it's good. It's good. If you one day get 2,000 viewers, it's amazing. Like, you can live from it. But in this moment, when you start, try to build a community that appreciates you. Because in the end, that will bring you higher, because that community will push you to.
How many people do you get watching your streams? Like, what was your best number that you got?
So my biggest number once was 18 people. 18 people. And I have to tell that it was hard. It was hard, and it was a terrible experience. Like, I have 2 screens, you know, like one in front of me and one back of me. And on the other side, I have my stream manager with my Twitch chat. And a good friend of mine was also a moderator on my Twitch channel. So what happens was that he was like, it was really hard, because I wanted to focus on the game, but the people were writing the whole time things in the chat, in the Twitch chat. So the biggest problem for me personally was how to juggle everything around, and then you see that actually it becomes hard. It becomes work. It's not pleasure anymore. It's straight up hard work. So it's also important that you learn with time how to juggle. In that moment, okay, you still want to win the game. Leave the game for a second. Focus directly on the chat. Don't do 2 things at the same time. Like, either don't focus at the chat all and just talk how you see the questions, or give yourself a second break in the game and then come to the people in the chat and answer their questions. So take care of your community and of your game at the both time, and it's really, really hard.
I have been thinking about that, and I always think, like, like you're playing League of Legends, somebody kills you, have a 1 minute spawn time. Like, you have a 1 minute to answer someone's question there. or while you're walking towards the center. Like, I'm sure there are like small spaces in between where you can kind of make time to read the question and then talk about it. But I'm sure you lose a little bit of focus from like focusing on the game. I imagine that there are games where you have to be like 100% focused, like let's say Call of Duty, where you really like don't have time to, like read through the questions, because the game is really fast paced, and League of Legends and similar stuff like that. But there are also other games where you do have time, like Hearthstone. I love playing that game. And sometimes I'm waiting for a minute for the guy to kind of decide which card he's going to play. And I'm thinking like, maybe at that same time, like I could look at the chat and go through some questions and answer something for people. So I think it depends also on the game that you're playing. And I feel that even the bigger streamers, they simply get so many people asking questions and saying stuff that they like don't have time to answer all of it. So they just skip a lot and they focus on a few of them, like that maybe seem the best or that are most interesting or kind of bring value to the stream that they're doing right now. Because if somebody gets 10,000 viewers and only 1% of them leaves a comment, that's still a lot of comments, right? Plus, you're not there on the stream 15 minutes. Some people stream for like 24 hours straight. Like some people are straight crazy, but yeah, so you get a lot of questions there. It's still amazing to me, like how communities build each other out. And I've been thinking a lot about like what kind of a community I would like to build there. I watched this guy online on YouTube, Sam Harris. I don't know if you know him, but he's the stream doctor or Twitch doctor, something like that. His YouTube channel is called Alpha Gaming, and he's absolutely amazing. First of all, he does really good streams. Second of all, he has a YouTube channel with a lot of very useful tips. Third, he's done a great thing for the community. He and his wife were into music a lot when they were younger, and they were doing CDs and concerts and stuff like that. And they left the industry, but they struggled with music for streaming, for copyright strikes and all of that all this time. So he made his own music that's license free, that's copyright free, that you can use on like for anything for streaming. And he said it on his like I don't know, he put it everywhere and it's for free. So imagine that. Like, I really like how he did it for the community and everything. And he's always commenting stuff like what Twitch can improve, what they're missing, what they should add, what's a good idea, and I really learned a lot from him. So I want to do something like that where you can build something that's useful for the community while having fun doing it.
Yes, and it's actually a really good way of thinking, because that's why I also play that auto chess. I have time between moves to think, and I also can help the community to improve in that game, so I can actually focus more on my Twitch chat. But what you are saying is actually really good, because Twitch offers you the possibility not to just being a gaming channel. Like right now we could have this on Twitch. Like we could stream podcasts. You can say your thoughts. You can have just chatting with the Twitch chat, or you can just play Hearthstone. So it offers you a huge it offers you like huge amount of possibilities, and that's why our variety. Yeah. And the thing is that this is what changed in the last 10 years. Whatever you're interested in, you want to see how it looks, you go on Twitch and you will find it. If somebody is annoying as a streamer, doesn't matter. Go to the other one. If you like smaller communities, go to a smaller community. For example, my favorite Twitch streamer for TFT, there are a couple of them with 2,000-3,000. There's one guy with 50, and he's amazing. He's really amazing, but he's like more chill and calm. He's not like an entertainer, but he always answers questions to the community. And me and my friends, who also play a lot, we decided that it's really important for us that we have a smaller community when we watch a stream. So it's also a good idea to try to build a small community, but you will get more appreciation. The rest will come at one moment, but everything else starts with a small and stable community.
I was thinking of like I really play a lot of Hearthstone, and I really look at like the type of players that are attracted to games. Some of them are highly competitive, and I look at it through decks. There's a certain way that you can build a deck in Hearthstone that makes it very effective, which means you analyze the meta game of what's currently active and the best cards in the current season, and then you put them together in a way where they interact in a way where whatever card you pull, it's statistically the highest outcome possible that you will have a good play. Plus, you have to be a good player with it, right? I actually don't like decks like that, because they're, after you play like a bunch of them, it becomes boring because it's very predictable. But you need predictability if you want to be the best. You need to know what card is going to secure you the win, right? It's like the champion you play in League of Legends, he always has the same spells, right? You can't have one spell being at random and then being like at a pro tournament being like, ooh, what does this do? Let me have a quick to read on which stats I should build. No, you have to like really max out all the stats and know what you're doing. I, on the other hand, don't like that approach and don't intend to go into any pro leagues. I like the exact opposite. When I build a deck, I make it extremely random, and the chances of winning are slim. But when you do, it's like an epic win. Like something happens that it's like it had never happened to anyone before, right? So like my stats are like win rate definitely below 50%, like even sometimes below 30%. But I think the videos that will be made for that will be extremely funny, you know? Like they even made a version of the deck where you kind of like, the more cards you draw, the more bombs you put into the opponent's deck. And then as he draws, he has a random chance to draw a bomb. And as he draws a few of them, it kills him faster. So you kind of want to drag out the game as long as you can, so he can draw the maximum number of bombs through his cards. It doesn't work every time. Of course, someone can heal himself up and stuff like that. But when you kill someone, when he draws like 5 bombs in a row and it takes like half of his health, it's hilarious. Like, and those moments are those that I love the best. And I'm thinking of doing a channel just for that, like calling it Uncle Gold Gaming, and do just like plays of these ridiculous situations that actually don't happen that often, but making like compilations of them and putting together like these best plays where you see the funniest things, right? Because if you're a serious player, you maybe won't take the time to build that deck and look for these opportunities where it's like something magical happens to you, right? But I love that, so I'm kind of thinking of making it in that direction.
So the thing is that you're right. You have 2 opportunities. You can be a, how it's called, a meta slave, like somebody who only plays the best thing in that game. Like I, for example, if I want to stack up the ladder, if I want to get more league points.
Yep, and are you a meta slave?
Yes. I am. Yes. But not only I'm a meta slave, but I also try to find myself new ways to improve the meta before anybody else notices it. Because there is before we go from fun, like your Hearthstone, like first of all, it's a great idea to make a fun channel with Hearthstone, and I have like 2 stories about that are important for the meta that changed gaming, professional gaming forever, and also Hearthstone and streaming. So I will first start with Hearthstone and streaming. So it's amazing. Your idea is amazing. You should do it, really do it. Try to film your games, cut out the best scenes, make a compilation of your best fun decks, give the people an opportunity to try them out, because a lot of people want to play chill. For example, Hearthstone. You turn it on your phone in your 20 minutes break and you just dish out 1-2 games. So you want to have a fun time. That's why it's good to have people who do that. It was a great idea. The second thing of all is that Hearthstone as a game took a swing down. So Blizzard made a lot of bad decisions in the last couple of years who hurt them a lot. Not financially, because I think they still earn great with World of Warcraft, but in a place about Twitch, esports, and gamer mentality. I was reading an article about a Hearthstone streamer who left Hearthstone and went to Legends of Runeterra. Legends of Runeterra, it's the card game version of Riot Games, the makers of League of Legends. And he was writing a huge Reddit post on Legends of Runeterra subreddit because he said that thanks to that he became a Twitch partner. Because he had a couple of viewers with Legends of Runeterra, he skyrocketed and now he's great. So I think that it's good to make content in Hearthstone, but you have to find your right way. Because right now, until Blizzard changed a lot of things about their mentality and about esports, unfortunately it will go just the way down. So the same thing is with streaming games except World of Warcraft. Like if you stream Diablo, if you stream Hearthstone, Warcraft 3, StarCraft, or Overwatch, the communities are getting smaller because the communities want to have a competitive side. If you don't have a competitive side of a game, nobody's interested because everybody who is coming to that Twitch channel wants to be entertained and wants to learn something. And if you're not competitive enough to follow the meta game or build a new meta yourself to dish out something great, you will not manage it. And that's why it's also, you can be a for fun streamer, but you always have to try to be competitive at least a bit. There are a lot of games where for fun streamers I make it high in the ladder. It's actually really amazing. I appreciate it, guys. But it's important that you always have to think that people who come to you also want to learn something from you. So they see you as an example of a better player. So that's why I said that, for example, Hearthstone, unfortunately, it's not good anymore. It's fun, it's great. I started playing it when it came out. But since the meta changes and all the patches, I opt out of it. Unfortunately, I'm playing sometimes Legends of Runeterra because it's better made, unfortunately. And it's also a good way for somebody who is in card games, Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone. If you want to start streaming, try out Legends of Runeterra. I'm not making an ad for Riot Games. I'm just saying it's a better way because the community right now is into it, and you have to follow the trends. So, and now we're coming to the meta story before I dive into YouTube content also, because it's also a part that I want to mention, and also other platforms. So the StarCraft 1, it's the ground stone of gaming. StarCraft 1, it's like everything esports ever had. Like everything comes from StarCraft and from the Korean community. StarCraft was really appreciated, and it's still appreciated in Asia. We are talking about a game that's 20 years old. It's a real-time strategy game in space. So I was playing StarCraft in the late 90s. Like, it was one of my first, if not my first game that I ever played. I still own the original CD from that game. Nice. So the thing is, it was always, you have three kinds of, three races. You have Terran, human, Protoss, and you have Zergs. And in professional scene, before everything happened, because there were no patches. You couldn't patch your game. You could just play that what you have in that moment. The Zergs were overpowered, really overpowered. And in the gaming community, at that time, it was a shame to play Zergs. So everybody was playing Terran or Protoss, and you always had the same tactics, the meta. Always the same opener, always the same units, always the same pathing. Because it was a 1-against-1 game. It was the meta was a stalemate. Everything what was important was your button per minute. So who has the faster BPM was the better. Of course, Asians exceed at that because they're amazing machines. But when we talk about gaming. So what actually happened? There was a guy who appeared on the scene. Nobody knew him. And you have a pick and ban. And always the first one was to ban, the other was to pick. And always, of course, the guy banned Zergs because you cannot win against him. And the guy let Zergs through. And the whole gaming community was like, what is this? what he's doing. Nobody can beat Zergs. They have the cheapest, fastest, strongest unit.
Yeah.
The guy picked Protoss, and he destroyed.
Wow.
He destroyed. He came, he changed the meta by himself. He was sitting at home, he was thinking about it, how to find a way to beat this meta. Because I'm sick that nobody can play Zergs. The game is not getting more interesting. That guy showed up and he crushed it. And that's something I want to achieve. Like when I play Teamfight Tactics, I want to build a meta. I want to find a new way how to get big on the ladder, but still be good. Like not for fun, not making stupid things just to be fun. I want to be that guy who breaks the meta. And I think it's really, really important. And now we can come to the interesting part, what I want to say.
That's an amazing goal, man. If you do that, that would be amazing. Like, I'm sure that everybody dreams of stuff like that, you know, where they change the meta. But I think you could do it, like, you know, figure stuff out. It'll take you time and effort, but I'm sure you can do it, man. Like, it's a game that's evolving and they're adding new stuff. Like, Riot is adding new things to League of Legends all the time. Like, I'm sure they'll do it with their card game as well. So there's a spot open for someone. Why not you, right?
Yeah, and that's why I'm thankful for the gaming industry and the gaming mentality and everything. And but that still brings up very bad point about everything is it's Twitch. Right now Twitch is Twitch has a policy that actually doesn't help the small streamer, and it's a very big problem for everybody who starts, because you cannot improve. Because I will not say it's 100% the fault of Twitch, but it is a big part of it. Mm-hmm. It's because Twitch stopped supporting small streamers who are not monetized, and they're putting ads on everything and everybody. And if you have 10 viewers and the 11th one is coming to you, and they see an ad, they will say, nah, for that 30 seconds I can watch a guy who has 3,000 views.
Yeah.
When you're streaming 30 minutes and an ad comes in middle of it and you get braked, it's also a bad thing. That's why I think that people should consider expanding their content on every possible way. Mm-hmm. Make it Twitch first, yeah. Consider to stream on another platforms. Trovo is actually an amazing platform, and Trovo offers you so much more than Twitch. In every year stream, if you stream 6 hours, it's completely safe on Trovo, and every year follower and fan can jump directly into it and watch and say, oh good, this is great. Like, he streamed from yesterday. In Twitch, if you're not a Twitch partner, you only get 30 seconds clips. But actually also pretty bad. You have to make YouTube content. Like, if you're starting new, try to make interesting content. Like you said, funny decks. Bring out a lot of videos where people see, oh, that guy's making that on videos. Maybe he's making it live. Let's check out. He's online. Yeah. So you have to work on your content and you have to decide which way you want to go. It's also really, really important.
Yeah, I agree on that one. Is it smart when you're streaming to open multiple streaming platforms and have your stream distributed everywhere? Or should you just like stick to just Twitch or just Trovo and be like, all right, I'm building a community here?
You should focus on one platform. Because, like I said before, it's important to give the community something back. You want to give the community something back, and you cannot communicate on 10 platforms at one time.
Yeah.
So exactly. If you make YouTube content, you can also always answer the comments. If you stream on one platform, so you're live there, you can react directly.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, cool. What else would you recommend someone who's interested in gaming and streaming? Is there something that when you get a few people jumping in on your streams and on your videos, what will be kind of the next step when you already have like a small audience building and already starting and growing? What will be some of the tips there?
Like I said, learn to juggle. Like, you have to juggle with everything around you. with your game, with yourself, like your body language, what you're talking, and with your community.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing always is the community. Like if people have questions, like I said, directly answer them. Directly focus on their question, then the game, and then yourself. So give the people a feeling that they're welcome when they come to your chat. Appreciate every view, every follower, and it's gonna help you a long way.
Amazing. All right. Everybody listening, I hope you're getting value out of this one. We're definitely going to do like a live gaming stream with Stjepan one day. I hope I won't destroy your ELO rating on League of Legends. We'll play a normal game, not a ranked game.
We can also play Overwatch. So we can play Overwatch. It's my wife's favorite game. She's actually amazing at it. I'm like bad, really bad at shooters, but yeah, we cannot do everything. Like
yeah, it's like there's so many games out there. Like it's hard to master them all. But I do enjoy playing Overwatch as well. I like the skins a lot. I think they're doing an amazing job. And usually when there's like recently we had the Halloween event, I usually take some time and put in extra effort to get more skins during that time because they have like amazing skins. And now there's the winter season holidays, then again they have another batch of skins coming, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm taking my laptop back home to Croatia, so I'm gonna spend some hours playing there, you know. But yeah, what are some other ways that you see there that people can earn money as streamers or YouTube content creators?
If you want to earn money as a YouTube creator or as a content creator, for example, because Twitch, we had it. It's a hard way, but YouTube gives you more opportunity. YouTube gives everybody more opportunity, and you just have to work the right way. Just learn what the community needs, read yourself through some things, and then decide again what kind of content you're making. And of course, you have to stretch into the YouTube algorithms. What's a thing that brought us YouTube to 20K, what we have now, the problem with a lot of for fun content and a lot of thumbnails that we don't need. But if you want to make a name out of yourself on YouTube, you should really think about your content and how to sell it, for example. It's really important that you start with a foundation. You don't start with any video. You start with a foundation. So you have your image. Give yourself a small image, like a small logo. Build it, put it together yourself in a Photoshop or something. After that, fill up your profile. Let the people know who you are and what are you doing. And on the way, the third way, the most important thing is make good content and don't wait to put it online. Like if you make a lot of content, then just put it out how it's done. Like you played 20 games of Hearthstone, 20 games, and you put 10 clips together. Just dish them out. Tell the people, I'm Bodnar Zuber and I'm playing Hearthstone. Come and check it out. And it will tell the community, oh, he's taking it serious. It's like that approach that we talked about, like 100 contents per day makes a great YouTuber. So it's also the same for gaming, but not to overload it too much. But you should, for example, try to avoiding scheduling videos. Like when you early start, it's a big mistake to schedule videos. Like try to bring them out how they're done. In the process preparing videos, find somebody who has more experience. Like I would say, go to Reddit. Read about content creators. Read about people who use Photoshop and video edits to make their clips look better. And when you pack everything together with a lot of effort and of course with some time invested, you should be able to start building something up. And on the way where you build something up, you will see and you will learn how to profile yourself. For example, if you say, okay, it's great, content is going good, I could do more. For example, I can bring another YouTuber to help me make that content. And on that way, you can build, again, a great community, and then this can lead, of course, to YouTube partner. where you can start to earn some money.
Yeah. And then later brand deals and things that, but that's when you already have a bigger audience and you already built a name for yourself.
Yes. So
yeah,
when you have the audience, everything else will come by itself. So you just have to decide which way you go, and when you decide it, it's gonna be a lot easier.
Yeah, I think creating content has a element of personal development in it. It's kind of embedded inside, because I'll tell you my experience. Like, I haven't been used to sitting in front of the camera all the time. Before 2018, there are almost no pictures of me. Like, I didn't like taking photos. I thought it was a waste of time. And then as I started creating content and everything, the first big, like, life-changing moment was when I actually pull out the camera to make my first YouTube video. And I was like, all right, this is going to be online forever, you know, like, in the realization that anybody can see this. It kind of brings the level of awareness that not a lot of things give you. For instance, let's compare it to a job. You go to work, you do something, you're surrounded by 20, 50 people in the room, and that's about it. They're all kind of doing their own thing. No one's kind of heavily looking at what you're doing except for your boss, right? So you're kind of connected to him with that, but there's no like reading your script in front of everyone in the office and being like, oh, look, Stepan wrote this and this is wrong, or Stepan did this and this is kind of okay, right? And there's no this element of putting you out there. With social media, creating content, YouTube, streaming and all that, it's reverse. It puts you out there completely, and on YouTube, for example, it can stay there forever, right? And people in the future can come back to your videos and look at it. And when creating content, you have to have that in mind, that a lot of people will see it. So the best idea that you actually can get out of creating content is that you improve yourself with time, right? Because you want to make better videos. And it's not the video that actually gets better. It's you that gets better and makes the video become better. So I feel that a lot of YouTubers and streamers on any platform are kind of underrated because they're in this thing for kids, right? And gaming and YouTube has that kind of stigma on it, that it's for 13-year-old girls, right? Or makeup tutorials or cooking chat, right? And they put you kind of in the same category, and there's not a level of respect there. But when you look at someone like Mr. Beast, who's now the fastest growing YouTuber in the world, he has assembled a huge team around him, and he's building a huge, massive company. The amount of money he's made and the amount of money that he's given to people to kind of like help the community and make a just like cooler videos, it's amazing. Like, it's like companies should watch him, what he's doing, to learn from him, right? Like, how many companies could benefit if they did something and like went like, all right, we're going to take 10,000 euro and give it to someone who's buying our products. Like, companies don't do that. They do have the money. They could do it, right? It's not impossible for, let's say you're a hotel now. We'll use it as an example. They say, all right, we're going to take 10,000 euro and we're going to give it to one person coming to us next month, just because we care. Imagine what that would do. You come to a hotel, you stay for one night, and you get like 10K as a reward for staying there. You would talk about that until the rest of your life. You would tell it to 1,000 people, at least. Everybody would go there. On social media, it would be a huge boom, so you will get a massive amount of awareness, and companies are just not doing it. And stuff like that is normal on YouTube, where people like spend 24 hours in a weird place. Like, I feel that a lot of companies are really not creative in what they're doing. And I know that there's legal implications in everything, but I'm sure that if they wanted, they could do it, you know, if they figured out the legal stuff and made a marketing campaign around it and asked the boss for permission. Like, I'm sure that they could organize it. I feel that companies will have to start doing it if they want to stay relative with time, you know. Like, if I can see that, imagine that COVID lockdown continues for another 2 years. I feel that a lot more people would go into the gaming industry and away from classical business. And I'm sure that a lot of companies will transfer to gaming to kind of make money and balance itself out. And then they will have to start doing stuff like that to even be competitive enough.
The thing is, your point is great, but unfortunately, no. It's,
I have a feeling that every great point that I make, you just drop it.
You're right. You're right.
Great
Like,
port, Borna, but
we are
no.
we are living in a world in a time called capitalism, and everything is around earning money. And unfortunately, we cannot be talking now about gaming culture, streaming, and YouTube content. There is a huge difference between that kind of business and the usual kind of business. Because I will come to that part when I mention esports after this. Because when you YouTube you make YouTube content, so you're a content creator. You work for yourself. You build up a small company, so you are a freelancer. You take care of your own taxes, of your own healthcare. Giving away money to improve the company, it's your decision, goodwill, because you are aware what the community is and what it means to everybody.
Yeah.
In normal business, you don't have that, because the people just think about their revenues. They give us other things. They think they make us happy with 10% discount, with Black Fridays, with 20% less percent on your loan when you buy a house. And that's the way it works today. So that's why gaming industry is completely different when we're talking about Twitch streamers and YouTube content creators.
Yeah.
There is the possibility to help the community and to give them a big sign of appreciation. Like Mr. Beast buys 30 cars and sell them for $100 in the United States. Because why not? It's a plus on both sides. You understand? People who get 10,000 euro in that hotel maybe never come again. But Mr. Beast knows the people pressed follow, they pressed subscribe. He wants to raise his community. Who is
the
watching?
guy that bought one of the cars that he sold for $10 might never watch a video from his again. Like, that's the risk of doing something for the good of other people. Like, you never know where good will come back to you. But my argument was that companies are not doing nearly enough, and I think we're saying the same point. You just wanted to say no to me, but the 20% discount on a, let's say you want to buy this Rode microphone, it's really cool, and they give you 20% off, and you're like very happy that you bought it. Imagine that they do a giveaway of 100 microphones to streamers to make their sound better. I'm sure that all of those streamers would consider buying this mic next, or like at least be appreciative, and that one of those 100 would do something to give it back. Plus, imagine how many people are looking at them on their streams. It'll be an amazing investment. Like,
you have the point. You're right. For example, if you're talking about hardware now, there is a funny story when League of Legends started to become professional in 2010. There was a team called Dignitas in the United States, and they got paid by mouse pads. So actually there was a time where they didn't earn any money for being a professional gamer, so they gave them hardware, mouse pads, mouses. And the thing is happening now. The thing is that if you want to have help from SteelSeries, for example, or Rocket, Razer, Rode, you will have to profile yourself. You have to be somebody who is worth their equipment.
Bring the mic a little bit closer. We're gone silent again.
Okay, sorry. So you have to be somebody who earns their trust. Like, if you want to be sponsored, for example, by Rode, like I said, you have to be already somebody. You have to have a name. So a lot of gaming companies are actually trying to help the community, and a lot of gaming companies are trying to help. And that's what I'm saying, that everybody who is involved in the gaming community, in the industry, will help each other. But we cannot expect that will ever happen in an industry different than gaming right now.
I don't know, man. I see that that could be a great opportunity for a lot of companies. For instance, I'll give you a great example. My job in this company where I worked last was to find companies that want to work with us, where we can send developers because they're looking to hire people, and we could help them with that. And in that process, I will do research on the company to see what they're doing and to see if they even need developers, right? So one of the first moves would be I would go to people's LinkedIn profile and see what they're kind of doing. And on one of the companies, I saw a trailer for everybody that starts working in the company, like a trailer for the company explaining what they do to kind of make the company more attractive. And one of the things that they did, especially in 2020, was they organized Call of Duty tournaments, because a bunch of developers, apart from developing, they took a few hours on Friday or on Saturday. They came together and they played Call of Duty with other teams, even with other companies. What I'm thinking is, the company is already enjoying the gaming culture. They understand that it's basically part of the company. So if you start working there, you're definitely going to talk about games with at least one of the people working there. A company like that, that's not focused on games, has people that are interested in games. They can bring that together, increase awareness of the company, make something that the workers really love, right? Incentivize players or even workers by, let's say, organizing a Call of Duty tournament by that company, right? And they take one Saturday, organize a tournament, invite a bunch of people, and it starts like a thing. I feel that after 5 years of doing that, they can have a convention on gaming and be involved with it seriously, if they really put in effort into it. And I think that's how companies need to start thinking about it, where there's something, like people start watching something online, like anime, and then they create a community about that. There's a lot of people who would start working in a company just because they know a fact like that, like I'm sure that you would accept a job in a new company where they said like, oh yeah, and by the way, on Saturdays we're doing Call of Duty tournaments, Overwatch tournaments, and you'll be like, really? Oh, okay, I'll sign the contract. And they're like, but we haven't told you the paycheck yet. And you're like, oh, that's fine, like I'll just take the job, right?
It's a great point that you make, and
but no.
But no, yeah. But no, it's a great point that you made. In any case, but I will give you two counter arguments, considering, for example, Germany as an example, and then I will go into the topic of esports, because then I can go more deeply in the subject of other companies investing in gaming. So, if you live and work in Germany, you find a community for everything, like I said. And if you're into gaming and your company tells you, yeah, on Saturday we are making Call of Duty tournaments, and you're like, oh great, I'm playing Modern Warfare all the time since it came out, I'm busting my ass, and I'm in, yeah, great. The thing is that what can go on the other side is that people maybe don't want to spend that time in the company anymore. Like if you have a stressful job, if you work a lot, and if there are some people who you're not getting along to it, you don't want to spend the time there for other reasons. So that's why it's called team building. And that's why people cannot rely always on team building, even if you have a lot of gamers in your company. Like it's a great asset to tell, oh, once a month we will work on Friday 3 hours shorter, and we will put 3 hours in our Overwatch 3 versus 3 tournament. The problem is you have to have high-end configurations, high-end hardware in your company, and that's a lot of money. Nobody will invest it. When a working PC that you can use costs 200-300 euro. That's also another thing. And everybody who is into gaming in 2020 doesn't want to do it at work. He wants to go home in Germany. He has his high-end hardware at home. He has his comfort of his home.
Neon lights.
He can sit in his underwear, being comfortable, or in his bathrobe, and just chill. And when he says, "You know what? I'm taking now a break," even if it's after one game of Overwatch, he can do it. And that's why, unfortunately, it will never rise anywhere.
All right. Well,
So,
look, man, we agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah,
Like, I know a lot of
that's great
people
about science.
very, very good computers.
So let's come to the part that's actually really interesting, and I love it. It's esports. Esports is one of, if not the biggest opportunity to work and to love what you work for people who love gaming, who love design, who love IT, who like to be on point with what's going on in the gaming industry. Esports grow in the last 10 years to be maybe one of the most biggest thing to talk about. Like, everybody in the world wants to be a part of esports. Like, a good example is that you say company wants to enter in sports. So since there is esports, since there are sports teams, it's a bunch of companies who entered the world of esports. And I don't want to talk about Riot Games and League of Legends, but Riot Gaming is that one who brought us up the closest step to be completely 100% professional event. What they did for the community is just amazing. This year it was the 10th League of Legends World Championship. Unfortunately, because of Corona, it was how it was. But they broke like million views per day. And it shows that the people who are playing games, what I talked about, the basements and everything, the people who are now playing games, they're now becoming rock stars. Not so many people look anymore at singers or sportists. The people also have the third opportunity, and that are gamers. Because the gamer community put the people out of their chair, out of their houses, and put them in front of an audience. And they can profile themselves. And the community is just amazing. And there you have the part where a lot of huge companies, also sport companies, are entering esports. And it changed a lot. It started everything with Counter-Strike and Dota 2. And of course StarCraft. The first one, but StarCraft, it's a different subject. But we are talking about team sports. Team esports. And before it was like a bunch of guys who play on an Intel Masters tournament in Europe, trying to win 10,000 euro paycheck. They have to pay for everything. Right now, the people have big houses in Europe. They hosting their teams there. They're all living together, and they made a sport out of it, and they make an industry out of it. And everybody right now wants to be a big part of that industry.
It is, man. What about the gaming houses?
Yeah, so the gaming houses is like actually something that started 10 years ago, and it started in the United States. There was a League of Legends team called Team Solo Meet, or TSM, and when every other team in the world was saying we are going to Europe, because Europe has 10 years ago the greatest players in League of Legends, they said like no.
Gaming.
Gaming is a different story. Like, for that you need an own podcast. So the thing is, the Reginald and his Team Solo Meet decided, no, we're not going to Europe, we're not going to be better, we will sacrifice a lot, but we will build a gaming house. And they put a house, and they put all the people together in one house. And this was the start of the esports that we know today. Unfortunately, Team Solo Meet never recovered from it as a team. They had some good success, they're a great team, but they never recovered from what happened 10 years ago. But they set a milestone for everybody. Since then, esports changed a lot. That the main leagues in League of Legends, for example, because it's the best and only important thing in esports right now, as an example, the major tournaments, the United States LCS and the European LEC, are hosted in two cities, Los Angeles and Berlin. So all the teams are living in the gaming houses. They're not just sitting there and playing anymore. They now have a whole team that backs them up. They have a a physical trainer, fitness trainer. They have a head coach. They have analysts. They have also a psycho who makes therapy with them every now and then.
Psychologist, yeah.
Yeah, psychologist, and also they have to go to the gym. So they're all young people who has to be guided in their life, who are amazing at playing games. So the whole esports community was built around that. That right now we have all the people in one house, so we are bonding them, but we are also protecting them. And what Riot Games and League of Legends is doing is everybody who becomes a pro gamer, who signs a contract with Riot Games, the end contract, after you signed for your team, Riot Games gives you the opportunity after you finish your gaming career to stay and work for them. Because they know how much sacrifice a young person needs to make to become a professional gamer. And we're not talking about streamers. Streamers are something else. But professional gamers make a huge sacrifice about education, about socializing, and arguably living a normal life. Because everybody would say, oh, it's amazing to play 12 hours a day. Yeah, but if you play 3 hours, have breakfast, have lunch, play 3 hours, go to the gym, play 3 hours, you're actually getting yourself in a situation where you get a sailing boat situation where the same 10 people are in the same room for the whole year. And you need to understand that it's really hard because the young people have to shape their ego also and their mentality. So it's actually really, really amazing what they brought. So, and after we come to the point where we have the gaming houses, we are now talking about big money. We are talking about companies that invest. And if you have millions of viewers, tell me one company who doesn't want to be a part of esports.
Yeah. How much are the prize monies that can be earned on tournaments? And can you give a few examples on that one?
Yeah, so before there was the Intermaster Continentals, IEM. It was the most important tournament worldwide, and it was held at Comic-Con, also in Comic-Con and DreamCon in the United States, and you also had 2-3 IEMs in Europe. Firstly, they started with Counter-Strike and Dota 10 years ago, and the prize pools were pretty good, like $100,000, $500,000. Right now, the prize pools didn't change much. They didn't change much. They grow up maybe €1 million, €2 million per major tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But how esports changed, the thing is what also changed is the tournament. So you have to separate how you compete. Do you compete on a professional level or you're an amateur team? And people want more to invest in professional teams so that the amateur teams are not earning so much money anymore. You don't have international masters anymore for League of Legends because you don't need them. You have the pro scene and you have the semi-pro scene. Of course, people are making amateur tournaments, but nobody cares actually, unfortunately, about that. And in the end, the prize money didn't change a lot. Esports, unfortunately, it's an industry without earnings. Like, esports is great, but esports relies hard on sponsors. Because in the last 2-3 years, the esports industry realized that they cannot just put a team there to play and be good. So they started to make content. They started to have their own Twitch channels. They have streamers with their logo, with their contract. So esports right now lives just on the sponsors worldwide who are willing to give them money. For example, Red Bull, Audi, Kia, the Kit Kat, Nestle, they're all into esports. And huge sports teams like Paris Saint-Germain has their own esports team in Taiwan. And in the United States, the Golden Guardians also have a team. So it's like everybody tries to be part of it, but right now it's more the name than the money, but the money should come.
Is it only for the first spot that they get a lot of money? How are like the second, third, fourth, fifth? Like, do they get stuff?
Yes. So they changed the the principles of the professional League of Legends because they made the best thing that sports can do. They franchised it. That means your sport costs money. Of course, you're paying, for example, I think 4 million or 6 million euro to get a spot at a League of Legends professional team. You cannot fall out of it. So right now, the money is distributed between all 10 teams. So when something happens, like you're the 10th team, but you're still part of it, you still have the sponsors, you have the same playing time, and you're the same screen time like every team, but it means the sponsors will come more. They will also appreciate the 10th team as much as the first team, because they always have the same screen time, and it's like the best thing in the world that can happen is a franchise.
Nice. That's good. Do they give out gear as well, or is that covered by the companies that bring them there to the tournament? Like, I imagine that if you're a pro gamer, you probably have the neon glowing computer that's maxed out with stats at home already, and the mouse and the speakers and the headphones and everything basically. So do tournaments give out like equipment, or is it obsolete for someone who's on that level?
Now, it's actually not obsolete, but neither the tournaments give out the gear, the sponsors. This is the thing that I was talking with you, that it's a part of the gaming culture. If you decided, for example, Fnatic, it's the longest lasting esports team in the world. It's an amazing company, an amazing community, and they have a sponsor contract with SteelSeries. So all their equipment is from SteelSeries. And that's the way how to manage it. It's expensive. You spend 1 mouse per month, or you break something, you spill your coffee by the train, or because you live in the house, and they get a lot of gear from them. And that's what is changed now. Right now, it's that the players just to have solely focus on playing, and also the owners of the teams, the CEOs, the managers, they don't have to worry about gear. They can focus on the game and to improve the team, because the gear is coming from the sponsors, and every team wants to sponsor every team because it's franchised. So it doesn't matter if the 10th team or the 3rd team is playing, you want to give them their gear, because when they lose, if they win, when they stand up, you will see that amazing keyboards that they roll up, or the mouse pads or the mouses. And it's something that's what I think it's really good for the whole industry, is that everybody can see the same. Doesn't matter which team plays, you can always see the same good things. And that's why esports industry is actually a huge growing spot and should be more appreciated in the world.
Nice. Where do you think that esports is going in the next, let's say, few years, or maybe even long term, if you have any ideas about that one as well?
So there is one factor that's important for esports to happen. The game cannot have any RNG. So the game cannot have any random occurring situations. That's why Hearthstone will never be a esports. That's why things like Fortnite, Apex, we are living now in a world where people love these shooters, these survival games. The thing is that it cannot be professional because it's too much random generated stuff. Like when you play Fortnite or Apex, you land on the island and you're an amazing player, but what if you cannot get the gear in that moment? What if it doesn't appear before you? If you play Hearthstone, if you draw 3 wrong cards in the beginning, maybe you will never come back. And that's why esports is solely focused on games that will bring us pleasure watching them because of the skill.
Yeah,
so I think
no random factor.
No random factor. And that's why it's Counter-Strike, Dota, and League of Legends, and of course StarCraft. So the thing is, I think that the gaming industry will evolve around League of Legends mainly. After that will come Dota 2 and Counter-Strike, also 2 amazing communities. And the 4th thing and always will be StarCraft. Will something new come in the Rising? Yes. We are talking about EA Sports and FIFA. FIFA is doing a great deal about promoting young superstars playing FIFA. The problem is that right now it's hard to make it competitive because the people need to have a system. So you have to develop a system that will help everybody. Until that is not developed, the FIFA community will not grow so much. Yeah, it's appreciated, it's great, but it will not grow so much. But it has also a great future. But when I'm thinking about the rest of esports, I think that it's slowly based on these 5 games that I said. Because everything else, and with too much RNG, it doesn't have a future.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, I also expect that there will be no like random things happening in a professional Olympic sport, right? Like, you don't expect something to happen during an NBA game or a FIFA World Cup, you know, like Champions League, stuff like that. Like, but yeah, I get that point. All right. What are some of your favorite games? Let's finish the gaming side of everything with your favorite games, and then we'll transfer to a different topic.
So, my favorite games are StarCraft. Like, everybody should try StarCraft. Try it, give it a try. Blizzard made a HD remastered version. It's amazing. So, League of Legends, of course, one of my all-time favorites.
Of course.
Thanks to my amazing wife, I got hooked a bit to Overwatch. So I like it also. And unfortunately, Overwatch will never be an esports because Blizzard only thinks they want to do it to earn money. So yeah, sorry Blizzard. And yeah, these are my like 3 favorite games. What I suggest to everybody is to focus on some single player games sometimes because you cannot always be competitive.
Yeah.
So try some survival games like Raft and Ori and the Wasp. Ori and the Wisp. It's an amazing 2D jump and run platform. Like everybody should try that. And
it's visually brilliantly made.
The story is amazing. The music is amazing. And yeah, there is one game I recommend for everybody in the world. It's called Bastion.
Bastion.
It's a small indie game made from Werner Studios. Yeah, Google it. And it's a hack and slash with an amazing, maybe the best music ever in a game, and almost as good story. It takes you like 10-12 hours to pass through it. You don't have to have a too good PC for it. You can play it on your controller. It will make you so happy. Trust me.
It's like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah. And it's great. The artists made a great job. So yeah, that's my list.
Nice. Some things overlap. I really liked League of Legends for a long time, but I kind of went out of it because it was a bit too time-consuming for me. Overwatch, definitely same story. Hearthstone, same story. I played World of Warcraft a lot when I was younger.
Everybody did.
Yeah, I gave up on that one. That was too time-consuming. Like,
yeah, unfortunately.
There is no Irla, only Africa. That, and I love single-player games with a good story. For example, Assassin's Creed is like on top of my list. They have brilliant story, visually very good. And the newer versions are really, really good, you know, so I'm satisfied with how that's going. They lost their way kind of in the middle of the story there, but they're getting back on track now. I'm looking forward to playing the newest version, the Valhalla, which is with Vikings and Nordics and all Nordic mythology, and that might be very interesting as well.
A cheap ripoff of God of War, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll see. I actually haven't played the newest God of War, so I don't know how it compares. So I haven't played both of the games, so we'll see when I get there. You know, we'll compare them at one time. Yeah, that was really interesting about this whole gaming fact. Like, I'm sure that people listening to the podcast haven't been in gaming that much themselves and haven't considered even joining an online community of gamers, and haven't thought about it in a serious matter. But I'm thinking of like, imagine you're a parent of a child. Like, would you orient your child away from computer games so it experiences more in real life, or would you be like, all right, there's a possibility that he might become a online gaming expert, star, professional, esports challenger, whatever, right? And direct them into not going outside as much, but rather staying inside and playing a lot of games to get really good at it and building a career there.
So I can say from my own experience, find a healthy balance and have no expectations. Let the children have fun and let them decide their way. You can help them to mold them a bit in a way you think it's better for them, but solely about the free time, their gaming is great to develop so much skills, but also the free time outside is really important. So yeah, find a healthy balance. Don't forbid it. Don't give him too much, and don't be 19th century about gaming. You have to open your mind and you see, yes, today it's like this. Like, look at us. We are now sitting in a lockdown, and a lot of people probably would get completely desperate and get an anxiety if they didn't have their community they can talk to, and that's why gaming is just amazing.
Yeah. I noticed that, and I haven't been affected by the lockdown as much as some other of my colleagues. I think it's because I do feel that there's a community online that I can always talk to, and if I don't know what to do, like, I can always turn on a game and start playing with people, and it gives a sense of camaraderie when you're, especially when you're doing like dungeons in an MMO, like killing a dragon somewhere in a cave that takes you 5 hours to do it. And you really had to put in a lot of effort. It's an amazing experience, and it connects people. So I think that games are, first of all, not just fun, but excellent for connecting with people. And I know 100 stories of people like meeting first online through a game, not Tinder, not anything for dating, and then either hooking up together or getting married, or just like becoming friends and spending time in real life. And I think it's just great. So I'm definitely going to keep playing, and I hope that most people who haven't tried do try some of the games. People have put a lot of effort to make them fun and interesting, and there's a lot of things to learn from games as well. Like, I'm still waiting for the educational gaming space to rise to a new level to kind of try a bit of those. But tell me, Stefan, and I kind of want to end on this one. What tips could you give to people about their day-to-day lives and the routine? And I heard from you that you're big on balance, but for people who are doing multiple things like yourself, how do you juggle like 20 things that you have going on and stay focused on them at the same time and become good at it and not neglect stuff that's important?
Yeah, so then we can come to, I think, our last subject for today. It's my hobbies, and I will mix it with my daily routine and coming out of my comfort zone. So yeah, I do a lot of things. So I work, I love gaming, and I play professionally table soccer. So I'm like the biggest nerd in the world. Like, here, it's me. I'm the king of the nerds. And the thing is that if you want to be good at something, like for example table soccer, if you want to be good at any sport, if you want to be good at a game, the first thing that you have, except to prepare a body, you have to prepare a mental. So you have to be mentally ready to lose and to win, but always give your best. Like, it happens to me a lot. Like, in the table soccer scene, I'm known as the guy who has the sickness of the fifth goal. Like, the fifth goal wins a set. If you win the set, you win the match. And the thing is that everybody in the world says to me that, everybody who knows me says to me that I would be the first one to come to 99, but you have to come to 100, and then everybody in the world would surpass me. And it was a big problem for me, and it reflected on a lot of things for me. And then I started to work on it. It's hard to focus your mental in every moment. So when you do it, when I play table soccer, I play for Eintracht Frankfurt. It's a professional table soccer team in Germany. We are like the best of the best. Also, one reason why I came to Frankfurt after Munich was because I like the city, and my wife also wanted to come with me. Thank God that I have her. And it was table soccer, because I wanted to play for Eintracht Frankfurt. And I came here, I auditioned, I got a spot at the second team, not the first team, but the second team. And the thing was that I worked really hard. And then I realized that I have a lot of flaws in my game.
Flaws.
A lot of flaws, yeah. And it was always that moment when the pressure is high and I have to perform. And that's also like in gaming and in everything. It's like you have to break that moment when you want to perform. Like, if you have to do it, do it. And you will fail. You will fail 10,000 times in your life. You will fail in everything. And it's normal to fail. But always strive to that you want to win. You always want to surpass yourself. Like, if I come first in the world to 99, and everybody else gets better because I cannot cross the finish line because of my mental state, get rid of that. Get rid of that, take it in your own hands, and do it. If you fall 100 times, doesn't matter. If you're good enough to be the first there, you will be the first when you have to win. So it's really important that people work on that mental aspect. Like, it's not terrible to lose. Everybody loses. But it's the thing how you handle it. Like, I'm not talking about the I have to be a part of it attitude. No, that's bullshit. Like, everybody has to give 100%, either win or lose. And then you have to set up your mental and say, okay, I lost. What is good? What good did I do there? What I can take with me? Everything else I leave. If you take longer time than somebody else, don't discourage. It's not terrible. Not everybody is the same. Like, everybody will find their own way only if they try hard enough. So bring up your mental game, and this is the moment where I want to tell my favorite book. So, just a second.
We'll put a link up for your book. And yeah, while you're looking for it, I think it's an amazing point that you made there, man.
Can I just finish with the book?
Yeah. I just wanted to say that a lot of people are afraid of failure, but so many good things come from failure.
Yeah. So what I recommend for everybody, if you're in sports, if you want to be competitive, or if you need it for yourself to break through some things, it's Timothy Galloway's The Inner Game of Tennis. It's the perfect example of, because table soccer is structured like tennis in every way. Tournaments, 1-on-1, 2-against-2, the point system, everything is like tennis. And and the thing is that so the point is that he says that you're always alone, and you always have to focus on your mind alone. Like, you have to break it by yourself. If somebody else helps you, it's great, but you have always to be ready to do it. Like, always give 100% by yourself, the rest will come. So it's really, really important to fight through it. And it's what I said to everybody, that it's really the most important thing, that your mental is stable and that you pass through it by yourself. It doesn't matter how long it takes, you will manage to come to that spot.
Does that come naturally to you, or did you develop that mindset?
I had to develop it.
How did you do it?
Because I realized I'm good at something and I'm getting better, but I stay past in the same line. And then I realized, okay, my physical part is on point, but where is the problem? Why I cannot beat some people? Why I cannot be better? And then I realized it's my head. It's my head, and it's everything in my head. So what I had to do, for example, in table soccer, as a 1-versus-1 or 2-versus-2 sport, is that I have to push myself to focus on other things. Like you when you start with something, you get bad habits, and you carry them with yourself, and then you come to a level where you cannot go farther. And then there's that moment where I was saying you have to improve your mental game, and you have to get rid of the bad habits. And this is why I started to do it. Like I have a lot of bad habits, but I'm trying to improve them somehow. It's not always going easy, but I'm trying to improve myself, for the better life around me, for my wife also. So everything comes in one big circle.
That's awesome. I believe in that a lot, man. Like improving yourself is really a big part of everything that I believe in, and it's helped me a lot in life, like not just in games, but in general. Like everything that you do, you can kind of get better in it. And I feel that a lot of people feel that they are alone in what they're doing, and they think that nobody can help them. But as you mentioned with the book, there's somebody who probably had the same or a similar problem as you, and somebody probably figured it out throughout history, right? So it's actually more of a job to find the right information for you rather than trying to figure it out on your own, right? We talked earlier about Reddit. There's a post about probably anything right now on Reddit. It's your job to find it if you want to find the solution, right? And I think that also makes you kind of, I want to say, grow up as a person, because you take responsibility for your problem, because you know that there is a solution out there. And then it's kind of not the thing that's stopping you. It's, oh, I haven't done what's asked of me to get to another level, right? For instance, if you want to become a better player in a game, you should go into a gaming house, because there you will have the optimum environment. You want to be in a better table soccer team, you moved to a different city, you auditioned, you went to a better team, so you found the solution on how to get there. So I think that's amazing, and I think that more people should jump on ideas like that. Let's go to the next topic there, Stjepan. You mentioned it earlier.
Which one you mean?
We said getting out of your comfort zone. I think that's the one that you mentioned. I believe that the things that we just said were kind of the thing that you described, like move to another country, another city, join the team. Like all of that requires a lot of actually confidence in going out of your comfort zone.
Actually, I don't have to add too much of it. I think we should make a quick roundup and cut it for today.
Yeah, me too. Do you want to finish on something strong, like a positive motivational message, or should we take the previous part that we had already?
Yeah, so the one thing that I want to say in the end is that it doesn't matter how your way was until now, and it doesn't matter what comes next. You should just try to put yourself in a situation where you will get better and your surroundings will get better. So slowly focus first on yourself, for you becoming that what makes you happy, and after that it will reflect on the surrounding. It's not easy, it's really hard, but you just have to believe in that what you're doing. And I know it sounds a bit mainstream, but it's really most important thing in everything what we talked today. Like how to become better at sports, how to put your mental in the right state. And it's really, really important to do it and start from yourself, and don't let anybody else say that you're on the wrong way. Like, you can take criticism, but no, try to be yourself, try to be open and love the world. And the rest will come with hard work. I believe in that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that one, man. It is hard work, but the results pay off.
That's it.
I think that's it. Let's just do a strong finish for everyone who's still listening. Guys, thank you very much for... No, we'll do it like this rather. We'll cut this part out. Stjepan, this is the longest podcast that I ever did, and it was the first live podcast that I ever did. So thank you very much for being here, for setting everything up with me, for taking the time and talking about your experiences, your troubles, the hard times, the good times, the benefits, and all of that. And I feel that we touched on some very interesting topics that people who haven't considered about them might find interesting, and also might change the direction in lives. Also, if people are interested, feel free to reach out. We'll leave links below for everyone watching on YouTube, links to our social media profiles, and we look forward to playing games with you in the future, guys. All right. What else to add? Stjepan, thank you again for being here, man. It was a pleasure having you on the Uncle Gold podcast.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and I hope I could be the Uncle Gold for somebody out there.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I would love to have you back on. There's still 2 or 3 topics that we kind of didn't go through. There are like larger topics that we both kind of love, like anime, and I think we might save that one for the next podcast in 2021. For everyone still listening, thanks for being here. You're a champ if you have an attention span to get to the end of this. We'll do more podcasts about how to improve your life. And guys, just because it's games doesn't mean it's not serious. Take your mental and emotional health very serious. Like, games can really, really help with that. There's scientific data that backs that up. There are games that really can improve your like eye-to-hand coordination and just make you a better person in general with the educational games. But just in the end, like, it's a simple and easy way to have fun, and we're doing it with friends. Like, it amplifies it a lot. So we wish you happy gaming, guys. All right.